Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our lore discussion series. Today we are taking a look at the second Psychic Awakening book, Faith and Fury, which you would think would have, furious guys, not the Alpha Legion, but I digress. I guess the Fury is the Black Templar and the Faith would be the Alpha Legion?
Word bearers, yeah, what?
Anyway, we're going to be reading through this book and giving our feedback on it as we go through each and every single Psychic Awakening book. If you guys have suggestions for future books in the series, stick to 8th edition for the most part. Please comment in the comment section down below. But I can't do this alone. So today I am joined by a plethora of funny characters, including, but not limited to, Inquisitor White. God damn it, I called you Inquisitor White again.
I swear you do that just to piss me off, Alexis.
I do, because you're a Slaneshi harlot now.
Yeah. Me, why I'm here, I'll be sitting here trying not to get livid at certain parts of this.
Trying not to get livid. And we have the legendary Mega Primarch Captain Jono, Stuff Stealer, Ship Crush, Head Crasher, Van Hunter, Chrome Basher. You know him as John.
What's up, you squigs and grots? I'm actually excited for this one. We got word bearers. I kind of like those fellas.
And my loving husband-to-be, Victor.
And I question your use of the word plethora.
So,
do you know what a plethora is?
You know what? Are you excited about this book, Victor?
I am.
You're still wanting to correct me on plethora, aren't you?
No, just a little.
Plethora, an excess of bodily fluid, particularly blood.
I don't see the problem.
I think we have plenty of it between the four of us.
Yeah, but we don't have an excess.
Okay.
Says you.
I think we have all the excess we need with White here.
Yeah.
So we're going to be starting this on the opening story, Faith Unbound. So Viggy, take it away.
The time of the Great Rift found the Imperium reeling, assailed on a million fronts by the surging forces of chaos. It was only the return of the Primarch Repute Gilliman and the fury of the Primaris Space Marines that held back the tide. Damn glory hogs. At this dark hour, the power of faith would offer humanity the faintest glimmer of hope. The Indomitus Crusade swept forth from Terra with furious purpose, driving the forces of chaos before them and bringing hope to hundreds of besieged worlds. Not Catachin. None but the Primarch of the Ultramarines could have overseen such a decisive counterattack. To those whom he commanded, it seemed that Repute Gilliman did not rest for a moment. No sooner had one victory been achieved than he began to lay the foundations of the next. The Crusade's momentum could not slow, for that might allow the heretical forces an opportunity to regroup. So, is this during or after the Indomitus Crusade? Because we kind of figured
during the Crusade.
We kind of figured that Phoenix Rising took place before.
So I think Phoenix Rising led up to it, because I remember, they had a little part in Phoenix Rising when Gilliman got resurrected. Then it moved on to Yvain dealing with Chalaxi.
Yeah, that's true. So this is probably happening at this. Yeah. Slightly afterwards in the timeline?
Like the way it's getting worded, it might be either during or after. We might find out as we keep going.
All right. Moving on. So it was that as the Crusade ventured deeper and deeper into occupied territory, pushing into regions ravaged by demonic hordes and migrating Xenos fleets, those territories in their wake were left to manage as best they could. The threats they faced were many. In the aftermath of the Great Rift, the entire galaxy was stricken by nightmarish phenomena, temporal disruption, and terrible warp storms. It was the Imperium Nihilus, those regions that lay beyond the line of the Great Rift, that suffered the worst of these occurrences. But nowhere in the Imperium of mankind was left unscarred. Even across the gleaming sanctuary world of Segmentum Solar, horror struck. Isolated warp storms tore through unprepared systems, swallowing battle fleets and spilling demonic entities across the surface of worlds. Such was the anarchic disruption of reality that chaos armadas, or grading fleets, and other deadly Xenos forces were carried vast distances across the tides of the warp and vomited back into real space on the far side of the galaxy. So, yeah,
General chaos with a little c.
things be bad, yo.
Could you imagine?
Total.
Okay, for instance, everybody's suffering, everybody's like fighting and trying to survive. The orcs are probably having the time of their life.
Yeah, they're probably
It's like,
loving
there's
it.
a fight every day.
Demon just goes on a ship, sees something in the corner, and they just say, "You better call a Medicaid." Clicks gun, but not for me.
God damn it.
Boss, why's we shut off the Guller field? Demons are going to be trapped aboard our ship. They're not trapped aboard our ship. They're just in the way.
Alright. Worse still, the predations of the great enemy intensified. Like slavering wolves, the heretic Astartes and their allies struck at the underbelly of the Imperium, emerging from the roiling stars to raid and pillage across the segmentum solar. Many of these incursions were directionless and savage, little more than the servants of chaos indulging their base desires for blood and slaughter. Yet they masked a greater plan, overseen by those who served the will of the dark gods with a far more insidious agenda. The word-bearers sought to spread their heretic faith into the very heart of humanity's domain. The sons of Lorgar had foreseen a struggle not only for the territory of the Imperium, but its very spirit. The souls of mortals were the currency over which this war of faith would be fought. So, isn't this slightly hypocritical? Because
In what way?
in the same way that Lorgar kind of sets up the Imperial faith and now the Wordbearers fight against that?
Yeah, it does seem a little bit weird.
I call it ironic more than hypocritical.
Yeah, probably ironic is closer to it.
Because the whole thing about Lorgar's story was finding that out that the faith that he set up was not the true faith.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now it's more of a correct. It's more like they're going to correct his biggest mistake.
Well,
At least in
I wonder if he considers it a mistake.
He does.
Fair enough.
That's in King's Blade.
Wait, isn't that the Knight story?
Yeah, but it's talked about by the word bearers who are kind of working with the Chaos Knight.
Ooh. Fair enough. Alright. Allaying with fellow traitor legions, such as the piratical reavers of the Night Lords and the relentless Iron Warriors, the Word-bearers sought to spread fear and hopelessness far and wide. Through dark ritual, system-wide sacrifice, and terror tactics, they intensified the power of chaos, hoping to break the will...
Sorry, continue.
Hoping to break the will of the Imperium's mortal populace. Those who accepted the primacy of the Dark Gods were spared, their collective damnation empowering the spread of corruption. Blind to subtle hexagrammatic patterns of the Word-bearers' rituals, Imperial forces failed to recognize either the disaster building behind their lines or the rampant spread of panic and heresy. Planet by planet, the shadow of chaos spread. Where's the Inquisition in this?
Apparently blind to the subtle hexagrammic words.
Yeah.
The Inquisition uses hexagrammatic words.
More importantly, this is more for me for White. Have you noticed how very biased the language here is?
I'm just kind of rolling in it.
Yeah, it's like it'd be nice if they at least at some point showed the word bearers or these guys from their perspective. Like, we're not spreading hopelessness in case we're spreading hope for the true gods and true emotion and all that.
Well, here's the
nice.
problem. Now, I'm not gonna call out any names here, but the problem with a lot of people when they try to write from the chaos perspective is typically people more connected to Imperial stuff that's writing them, so they have them do bad things for the sake of being bad guys with no reasoning behind it, not even twisted reasoning. It's just, we do think because it's bad. Got to lower that karma meter.
My favorite thing. The Iron Warriors are setting up like bastions and everything and preparing for an actual fight and, waging war. The word bearers are sacrificing hundreds of people, spreading fear and demons all over the place. The Night Lords are jumping behind you going ooga booga booga and running away.
That's like one thing, weird thing about this book is that like they bring up the Night Lords bunch early on, but when they get to the actual battle, they don't really do anything. They just kind of get beat up by the white scars.
Mongolian throat metal intensifies. We are the Night Lords. We strike at dark. What is that white streak coming towards us? Why is it screaming in Mongolian? Why does it have boss music?
I still find it weird they drag the Night Lords along because every time you read little lore tidbits about the Night Lords, they're all like, oh, we hate super religious people like the Word Bearers and the Dark Angels. We're teaming up with the Word Bearers. And
look, the Night Lords were, they're always being left out, and Lorgar asked, since their Primarch were dead, Lorgar asked his Word Bearers to, take them along.
Right, you gotta keep
Be nice, let them have a few kills, let them participate.
It's like taking your 13-year-old nephew somewhere. He's just a little pain in the ass, but you have to bring him.
They keep getting whooped in these books. Like in Vigilus, they got the crap beaten out of them.
Look, we'll take this flayed body that you gave us. It's really nice. We'll put it up on the refrigerator.
Right next to all the ones from the Emperor's Children.
Who look way better, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue.
Only the Sisters of Battle, the zealous warrior champions of the Imperial Creed, foresaw this deadly threat. Well, good going. Many a canonist of the Adeptus Sororitas witnessed the same apocalyptic visions, maws of utter blackness stretching wide to devour the light of the faithful twin-headed Aquilus. That's a comma there. Devour the light of the faithful. Twin-headed Aquilus torn apart by hungering shadows, and stars drowned in the blood of innocents. The holy orders of the Sisterhood could not spread word of the horror they had uncovered, for across the galaxy, astropathic communications were drowned out by warp screams and the howling static of demonic entities. Word would have to be delivered in person. Thus, it was the Orders Militant of the Adeptus Sororitas dispatched their battle fleets in greater numbers than ever before, guided by the visions granted by their beloved God Emperor. Yay!
So, originally I thought that this part was really silly until I started going back and rereading a lot of the Sororitas lore. And quite literally, they just get visions from the Emperor himself of things that are about to happen.
Yeah, those aren't even the biggest things that happen to them. Like, they get actual miracles, and a vision is a miracle as well.
Acts of faith noises, and like he does this vision stuff with some of the custodians too. So
and the Inquisition,
and
Mark of Faith. The whole book is about the girl's visions.
I mean, this is just the Emperor beaming what he would normally send through the Emperor's tarot, just beaming it straight into people's heads.
I'm just imagining this entire time, the Emperor tries to do this to Space Marines, but the Space Marines are so, stalwart against it that they don't listen. And he's just he's sitting there oh my god, all right, hey girls, this is happening. And the girls are like, yes, Emperor, we'll do it right away. Oh, I can't believe he's talking to me. Yes, let's do this.
Senpai noticed me.
You walked right into that.
Are the Psychers?
What?
No, they're not.
Oh, so these are just straight up Joan of Arc visions.
Yeah, these are literally prophetic visions granted by the Emperor.
But not psychic.
Faith plot bull crap.
Well, psychic from the sending part, not the receiving part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just gonna say this ahead of time. This is the subtlest of the crazy faith plot bullcrap that happens in this book.
Oh no, it gets way worse later on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep going then. Even as the Sisters of Battle brought hope and fierce defiance to scores of war-ravaged worlds, it seemed certain that the Word-Bearers' plans would come to fruition. Yet the sons of Lorgar had not counted upon the new and dramatic phenomenon that began to manifest across those contested planets. The immense eruption of psychic energy unleashed by the Cicatrix maledictum gave rise not only to the warp-spawned nightmares, but acts of faith and wondrous miracle on a scale unheard of. Humble mortal worshippers of the God Emperor bore witness to manifestations of the Emperor Angelic, flocks of golden eagles and columns of scintillating flame that seared demonic and heretic flesh alike. These miracles galvanized those who bore witness to them, firming their resolve and filling their hearts with defiance, even in the face of the horrors unleashed against them. So began a great war of faith that set the dark prophets of the heretic Astartes against the acts of hope and belief inspired by the Sisters of Battle and their allies. So yeah, it goes to... So yeah, if psychic powers are getting amplified all across the galaxy, it stands to reason that it's easier for the Emperor to do his thing.
Well, one of my favorite things about this whole thing, sorry to cut you off, is I'm just imagining like not the Alpha Legion, the Word Bearers and the Iron Warriors. They actually accomplish their job. They're fighting, and they look back at the Night Lords, and the Night Lords are like, "We scared them. They're literally summoning golden eagles to fight us. I don't think they're afraid." Your entire purpose here was to scare them, and you couldn't even do that.
What I'm getting from this is apparently all Psykers need to do to get accepted is make sure that their powers are glowing golden.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why Rosalina's, all of her stuff is gold.
Yeah.
So, color of winners.
John?
So, here's something that's bothering me about this whole page. So, this is talking about the Sisters of Battle, like, and waging a war against the heretic and the Word Bearers and them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Why is the background picture Ultramarines fighting orcs?
It's reusing art from Vigilus.
Yeah, it's like, you got the Iron Hands right there, you got the Skitarii. I bet it's supposed to be about, like, because this is the whole 2-page thing about the Indominus Crusade, so, but still.
I get it. It's just amusing that it's like, the Sisters of Battle are fighting the heretics of Astartes. Here's the visual representation, Ultramarines fighting orcs.
Like you just like having them fight orcs when there's no amount of chaos art in Vigilus. Then again, the chaos art for Vigilus tends to have chaos winning, and we can't have that in this.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, the art aside, it's looking like primo plot nonsense is about to happen.
This is going to be epic as hell. I can already hear the guitar riffs.
This is literally another anime battle.
I think a great way to describe this is, before Faith and Fury came out on Facebook, the Warhammer 40k Facebook page put out a poll for people to pick their side in the conflict between Chaos or the Imperium, and the options were either Faith or Fury. But the poll glitched and the images weren't loading, so people didn't know which was which, and they're just kind of debating in the comments which was Faith and which was Fury.
Interesting.
You got Word Bearers, and then you got glowy eagles.
Yeah, like we're about to see some Faith no Jutsu over here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. All right. Next up is Taladus, which is apparently the planet that this takes place on. All right. For 10,000 years, calm down, Illidan. The sanctified Taladus system shone as a beacon of humanity's might, a realm of glittering shrine worlds populated by billions of pious servants of the God Emperor. Damn it, phone. Its glory seemed eternal and untarnishable. Well, that's just asking for it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Taladus system lay in the center of the Veritas subsector, a region of space replete with imperial worlds and navigable warp routes. It was seen as a stronghold of the ecclesiarchy, a vibrant symbol of the imperial creed's galaxy-spanning influence and power. Its capital world of Benediction was entirely covered by a golden Theocropolis, of astonishing scale. That's a cool word. The entirety of the planet's surface reshaped and sculpted into a mausoleum temple to house the corpses of thousands of saints. Blah, seen one mausoleum planet, seen them all.
All I can imagine right now is there's just a pile of Celestines in there. Because when Celestine dies in her book, she looked at a statue of herself with her armor on.
Yeah.
So that means that there's multiple dead bodies of Celestine. So just imagining, like, after the first, 20 times she died, they just kind of just started piling them up.
I mean, at this point, the janitor's job is just to sweep up Celestine corpses.
Yeah.
Hell, all the canonesses should just get Celestine's armor.
Well, depends. Alright. Many faithful pilgrims of the God Emperor would gladly have given their lives just to see the spire mountains of Lox Aeternis, to walk amidst the statues of long-dead priests and hierophants, to hear the sounds of psalms echoing through the artificial valleys and stained-glass towers of the Grand Honorificum. That's some nice scenery right there.
I can't wait to see how this goes all horribly wrong.
Ooh, I like the next paragraph. It includes...
Read it, you butt.
What? I thought we were still talking about the previous one. Wow.
Actually, I do have a question. What's with that skull? Like, what kind of servo skull is that?
It looks like a servo skull of an electro priest.
It does. It looks like it's just going to tase you.
Wait, the one on the left or the right?
The right.
Oh, it looks like it, I don't know, with signaling landing craft, I don't know. Either that or trying to get TV.
Alright.
Skull TV.
Goddamn. Let's see. This ambitious project was started by none other than the legendary ecclesiarch Sebastian Thor. Woo! Go Thor. During the 36th millennium, that would be the age of apostasy, Thor led a great revolt against the depravities of his predecessor, Ecclesiarch and High Lord Gauge Van Dire. Thoroughly insane and murderous, Van Dire had become convinced that he alone was the God Emperor's divine instrument and successor. Anyone who questioned his increasingly deranged pronouncements was subject to hideous torture, then a summary execution at the hands of the Daughters of the Emperor, a sect of pious warriors that had been swayed into Van Dire's service, who would later become the Sisters.
So that still stands.
I love that during that whole thing, Greyfax was alive. She was one of the Inquisitors who was assigned to the Order Hereticus.
Yeah.
At this time, she's the one that's... she potentially was one of the ones that signed the Sisters into existence.
So,
And that's all in... what is the book where Celestine and Greyfax go on a road trip together?
Martyred Lady?
Yeah, that's in that one.
Fair enough.
That was a good story.
You do realize what we need, right? We need a project that covers the Black Library needs to focus on the Age of Apostasy, because there's a lot of events that need to be, fleshed out.
Yeah, but GW thinks women are icky.
Yeah, well,
You're getting better at it.
The sister sale seems to be proving them wrong. Alright. Moving on. The Taladis system suffered terribly during those dark days. Its governor, Hectus Carmine, was one of the first to openly and publicly decry the outrages of Gauge Van Dire. In doing so, he earned the mad ecclesiarch's fury. Carmine's homeworld of Taladis was invaded by forces loyal to Van Dire, who were faced with the governor's steadfast Astra Militarum regiments and thousands of the God Emperor's faithful who refused to acknowledge Van Dire's rule. After a fierce conflict that raged for many months, Carmine and hundreds of his co-conspirators were finally captured and put on trial. The deposed governor was brutalized publicly for more than a month, and ultimately burned alive on the steps of his palatial residence, while his populace was forced to witness. Not content with this blood prize, Van Dire ordered a grand purge of heretics across the subsector. On worlds such as Boris Minor, Gredask, and Satropol, the measures taken by the insane ecclesiarch would live in infamy. Once a prosperous system, famed for its splendor, Taladis was reduced to a shadow of its former glory. So yeah, I want more stuff like this. I want to read more about this.
Yeah, Go ahead.
that place is getting screwed up and Chaos isn't even there yet.
Yeah, what the heck?
Well, I mean, Chaos is there. Gorge Van Dyer.
He's not a chaos worshipper. That's the funny thing.
Yeah, really. No,
I
but
mean,
it's really funny that, again, this paragraph can make an entire book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to do that a lot.
They do. Should I read that Canoness quote on
Yes.
the left? 10,000 blessed saints rest eternal amidst the silent halls of benediction. It is a world steeped in the blood of the faithful. Attributed to Canoness Arcasia, Fury of the Order of the Ebon Chalice. Wait.
No, I don't
Fury?
think Fury is her last name. I think it's the title.
Oh.
But that would be cool.
Would be cool to have
Furiosa.
the- Furiosa.
I only say that because otherwise Fury would have been on the top line.
Yeah. Alright. So, Sebastian Thor was the leader of the Confederation of Light, an alliance of faithful soul determined to end Van Dyer's time as Ecclesiarch, which had come to be known as the Reign of Blood. Thor gathered his forces, which included several Space Marine chapter masters, to Holy Terra, where they overthrew the tyrant and his loyal servants. In the process, Thor revealed the depths of Van Dyer's heresy to the daughters of the Emperor, who repaid their master's lies with the edge of a power sword. That was Dominica, right?
Alicia Dominica, yeah.
Yeah. As Van Dyer's severed head struck the floor of his chamber, the terror that had enveloped the Imperium was finally ended. In the aftermath of this bloody coup, Thor, having convinced the High Lords of Terra of the righteousness of his action, was chosen to become the new Ecclesiarch.
Just leave the custodians out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that took place, and I think the Fists even helped him.
Well, I mean that bit when the one custodian, led the leaders of the daughters of the Emperor, to the Emperor.
True. I'm guessing Thor was involved with that.
I figured he would have been there.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that they've... They're good?
What's crazy is that sister actually stood before the Emperor and was sane afterwards.
Was she, though? I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, because Space Marine captains can't stand before the Emperor.
I mean, the sisters are true believers, so maybe it's easier for them.
Maybe she blinked.
I'm noticing... One thing I've noticed is that they called it the Reign of Blood, not the... I don't think they've mentioned the word the Age of Apostasy yet, have they? Or
No, they haven't, but the Age of Apostasy encompasses like a bit. That encompasses a bigger stretch of time than just Van Dyer's Reign of Blood. So that's probably why they haven't mentioned it.
Well, I guess just leading up to his takeover too.
Yeah, like the Age of Apostasy also includes Sebastian's reign as Ecclesiarch, so it goes a bit further on afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a bit more to it. All
Fair
right.
point.
Thor was a bold and determined reformer. He decreed that the daughters of the Emperor, having shown their true loyalty, would become the chamber militant of the Ecclesiarchy, renamed the Sisters of Battle. They would faithfully serve the will of the God Emperor. Having put in place measures to ensure that an event as disastrous as Van Dyer's Reign of Blood could not occur again, Thor departed Terra and began a grand tour of the Imperium's holy site. One of the first sectors the new Ecclesiarch visited was Veritas, and its broken capital of Taladus was his first port of call. So, yeah, now they're just kind of going over all the stuff that Sebastian Thor did after Doge Van Dyer got ended.
All right. So it sounds like, I'm guessing they took out the men under arms thing and just made it to where if you're the daughters of Brides of the Emperor or the Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, they just got renamed, really.
Neato.
Yeah.
I mean, a good chunk of them also got slaughtered. They got split up into 6 major orders. No order could go over 100,000 women. If they did, they had to split off into another order.
Fair.
Canoness leads 1,000 sisters. The next one up leads 10,000, and then the Canon as superior leads 100,000.
Heck yeah. Isn't? Oh yeah, that's Junith.
Yep.
Junith is that? Yeah.
Who leads the Sisters of Our Martyred Lady.
Heck yeah. All right. Though they had suffered greatly at the hands of the church, the survivors of Andire's purges greeted their new ecclesiarch reverently when he visited the ruins of Taladus. Moved by their faith, Thor ordered the construction of a grand monument to Hectus Carmine and all who had lost their lives during the Reign of Blood. The limitless coffers of the ecclesiarchy were opened, and upon the ashes of the past were fashioned soaring temples and mausoleum cities of gold. Thor decreed that Taladus be renamed Benediction in honor of the fallen. Oh, okay, so it name changed from... Which kind of makes sense, because normally the capital worlds of subsectors and sectors are normally named after their capital planets.
Right.
They're usually the same thing. Like Provoska, which has the Provoskan sector and its capital of Provoska.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Limitless. I wish to live one day to see me myself have limitless coffee.
I mean, if you found a religion, then you might have limitless coffers. Just look at Scientology.
Ha. On a side note, just so we can add some more lore to this, did you know Sisters of Battle get most of their battle gear from Mars?
You have mentioned it enough times, but others might not know that.
Yeah, the ecclesiarchy has to buy everything from Mars, and each suit is fashioned to a single sister.
Yeah, they send like the measurements and stuff, right?
I'd assume so.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, they just have to guess.
No, I meant, but what I meant by that is like, so it's not like a standard issue power armor. It's like custom made from top to bottom.
It is a custom made power armor, and it's constantly repaired because every battle power armor gets messed up. But yeah, that's the same with all of their weapons and everything.
That would explain in the role-playing games why Sisters of Battle armor doesn't actually have to worry about power spikes, because if it's made on Mars, it's probably made to the highest quality available.
Heck yeah. All right. Over the following centuries, the power and influence of the Veritas subsector grew unchecked. The immense wealth generated by sacred tithes, pilgrimage tolls, and the generous offerings of the God Emperor's faithful flowed back into the vaults of the ecclesiarchy. That's a pretty non-paragraph right there. It's the next one, on the other hand, that has some really juicy bits.
Oh, they spent money to make money.
Yeah. Cha-ching.
Just like all churches. They're not for the faithful, they're for the coin.
Ooh. I mean, there is a...
Prove me wrong, you can't.
There is a Rogue Trader supplement called Faith and Coin. Coinciding? I think not. Alright. So, in order to protect this valuable and imposing symbol of their power, Thor's successors ensured that several fortress sanctuaries of the Sisters of Battle were built upon Martyr's Rest and its neighboring worlds. Entire Astra Militarum regiments were diverted to protect its borders, and the ecclesiarchy's tithe collectors roamed the space lanes of the Veritas subsector, ensuring that the God Emperor's due was paid in full. The dockyards at Satropol were amongst the largest in the Imperium. Thousands upon thousands of vessels were packed together in cramped mooring claws, kept stationary for months, and sometimes even years as the ecclesiarchy's agents methodically ensured that every tithe was collected. Those who failed to pay what was owed or in any way aroused the ire of the church were dealt with by the ruthlessly zealous Gredusk Illuminators. These crack Astra Militarum regiments did not technically answer to the Adeptus Ministorum, as the decree passive, passed in the aftermath of the Reign of Blood, prevented the church from maintaining such a military body ever again. Yet, such was the ferocity of their faith, the Illuminators maintained suspiciously close ties with the members of the Taladoran priesthood. So yeah, mentioning the decree passive, which bans men under arms, but says nothing about women under arms.
Well, it's making it sound more like they can't have the Astra Militarum regiments.
Yeah, that's true, but there's also the Frateris Templar, which are both sexes, but mostly male.
Yes.
It's like we can't have Astromilitarum, but that doesn't mean we can't have priests befriend the Astromilitarum and do what they say out of like just.
Think about it like this. After World War II, Japan had to sign a treaty saying that they couldn't have a military, but they could still have a defense force. The defense force is the sisterhood, but they couldn't have men under arms, meaning they couldn't have an army.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people get that wrong, and they think, oh, the sisters, which are an all-woman organization, is how they got around that, when in reality they mean they can't have an active army.
Because people kind of forget the Astromilitarum has both genders.
Yep.
No. All
right. So did Taladus thrive for thousands of years, even when the Great Rift tore open and Terra itself was savaged by demonic hordes of the Dark Gods. The Veritas subsector remained untouched. The prophets of benediction claimed that the faithful of Taladus lived under the eternal protection of the God Emperor, a reward for all that they had suffered. So, Emperor protecting, he doing what he doing.
You gotta protect his money.
Well, so
for protecting that pocket.
Yeah, like going on to the whole Emperor protecting, has he ever just like denied access to a planet, like from demonic forces?
Apparently, demons even got into Terra.
Yeah, that's in the book. One of the throne books. I cannot remember which one. The one with the Sister of Silence and the Grey Knights and the Custodian.
Plus, it's just thought out in the Custodian Codex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Emperor can deny demons entry into the Imperial Palace in the Horus Heresy, so that's that. Angron can't get in because the Emperor is keeping him out.
Angron, go away. No!
That restraining order. Also, speaking of the Emperor protects, that kind of leads into the next sentence of the next paragraph.
Such predictions would prove utterly false. The Dark Gods had set their eyes upon this gleaming jewel in humanity's crown, and their greatest mortal champions planned to see it burn in the fires of chaos. Enter the Wordbearers.
And map.
Then we get a very nice map.
Showing the work storms.
And then we get the seeds of corruption.
So, one thing I want to bring up about the map on the first page, like the planets that are just in that kind of purple area of the Silitux Maledictum, they're just like
they're just what? Sorry, you cut out.
They're just screwed, right?
Yeah,
mostly.
They're not even on the map anymore. They just got demonified.
It's
Agapina.
Yeah.
And Bella's Corona. This is where Battlefleet Gothic takes place.
Yeah, and Cadia and Sincher.
We also have a list of all the forces involved in the conflict.
Ooh, let's take a look at this really quickly. Order of Armored Lady.
3 Preceptories of Armored Lady.
Ooh, that's 30,000 Sisters of Battle.
Then let's see. Gradask Armor, 13 regiments. Gradask Artillery, 9 regiments. Gradask Infantry, 26 regiments. Cadian Auxilia, 14 regiments. Sente Honorifica, 50,000 souls estimated. That's probably just, zealots. Pilgrims of the River, unknown numbers. Travortian Gladi, 177 scratch companies, probably conscripts.
Those are just people, those are just militia groups, really.
Gotcha. Sensor Host, 36 formations. Then the Taladus Relief Group of Battlefleet Pharos. Salamanders, 1 Demi Company. Black Templars.
Wait, I can actually explain the Demi Company really quickly. It's 1 captain, 2 troops, and then 1 of each.
So, a little under half a company.
Gladiator Strike Force is very similar.
Mm-hmm. There's a Black Templars, got a Strike Force, White Scars, 3 Vanguard Strike Forces, so Vanguard Marines. That's
No.
Acadian.
Not Vanguard Marines. It's a Vanguard deployment. It's their fast attack. Or, wait, is Vanguard fast?
No, Vanguard's the elite one. Fast attack is something rider.
Spearhead. Or Outrider.
Outrider.
Yeah.
Because it does like Green Blade they get into like stealthy battles with the Night Lord, so so Cadian 17th Infantry Regulators, Cadian 567th Armored Steelhounds, the Cadian 991st Armored, known as the Bloody 991st. Let's see. Then the Chaos Benediction Invasion Force, Word Bearers 1 Company, Brotherhood of the Knife, unknown numbers, the Cult of Loss, unknown numbers, Bloodhounds 13 War Parties, Gore Legion of Koros 1 host. That's Beastmen.
That's Beastmen?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what John just did, but I agree with him.
He broke his internet out of height. Now, let's see. Siege of Gradast, Iron Warriors. So Iron Warriors 1 Company, House Comentus, Household Strength, House Rakul, Household Strength, so Knights.
Yes.
Rusthammer Trader Artillery 3 regiments, Federal Dragons 2 regiments, Wereblood Combat Servitors 45 packs.
Those are Trader Guard regiments.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Chaos Raiders, Night Lords, 3 warbands approximately, the Siren Fleet, unknown numbers, the Sons of Vengeance, sightings reported. Full analysis of heretic forces unavailable due to extreme empiric disruption. Above record has been gathered from intercepted Vox transmissions and astropathic messages. Alright, John's resetting.
Data presented as recovered on 113155. Why does it... That's the new dating system. I don't recognize that one. Incomplete and subject to alteration. Alright. I need to check out how they do how Gilliman ordered the new dating system, because I only know the old one.
Well, the new dating system allows Eldar. Deputy kill a man. Anyway, let's move on.
What were you going to say?
I was going to read one of the planets on here. Imagine living on a planet called False Hope.
Oh. I mean, it is.
Oh yeah, it's next to Blackreach.
Yeah.
And Salem.
And Salem? Ugh, I don't want to live on Salem.
It's actually in the, this is where the Tau Empire is.
Yeah, it's right up there near the Scourge Scars and the Sawtech Dynasty.
Yeah.
Huh.
And there's Attila.
Oh, there's Ryan's World.
Yeah, also, Schindelgeist apparently moved Segmentum.
Yeah, they never really mentioned why that happened.
I mean, probably if it did get spit into the warp and then spat back out, maybe that makes sense, but nobody has said why.
I mean, it happened with Prospero.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happens when you're... I think Katachan has taught us nothing bad happens when your planet gets sucked into the warp.
Shoosh.
Huh.
Well, if you want to talk about moving planetoid objects, let's look at the Orks.
They put 6 moons around Terra, and Terra was suffering like catastrophic damage, which was probably the best thing that the Orks could have done.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
Seeds of Corruption.
In this part, I'm going to read the quote first, because it's from a very important character. Taladus is a grand deception, a symbol of the weakness and ignorance that taints the blood of the Imperium. I will visit upon it the truth of the Dark Pantheon. Attributed to Cor Farron, Keeper of the Faith. Woo!
Oh, hey, Cor Farron is still alive?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's a demon man, I think.
Did he ascend?
I think I'll double check while we just go through this.
Alright, let's see. Seeds of Corruption. The ruling priesthood of the Veritas subsector may have believed that their domain was an incorruptible bastion of the Imperial Creed, but in truth the seeds of heresy had lurked unnoticed within its borders for many years. It was the infamous Cor Farron, Keeper of the Faith and confidant of the demon Primarch Lorgar, who plotted the ruin of the Taladus system. None bore more hatred and contempt for the mortal servants of the God Emperor than Farron, who had played a pivotal role in the earth-shattering events of the Horus heresy. Veritas was the symbol of everything he despised: ignorance, weakness, and petty mortal greed. Moreover, he believed that if the great shrine world of Benediction were to fall, it would spread pure terror across Segmentum Solar, a fear that could be exploited and harnessed to further empower the Dark Gods. One world would fall, then another, and another. So, I have to. So, commenting on Corferon, I think so of the Primarch series, where it's just each Primarch getting I say short story, it's novel length. But Corferon's, like Lorgar's Primarch book, is more about Corferon than it is about Lorgar.
One of my favorite scenes in that book is Lorgar wants to read like these sacred texts that not even Corferon's able to read. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Please, will you let me do this, Father?" And when he calls Corferon Father, he gets hit with like a mix of like pride, joy, and like just complete tear madness, and just slaps the hell out of him.
Yeah. And also in regards to Corferon, I got mixed up. He has not ascended to demonhood. He is still just his man's.
Yeah, he's just a human.
He's not Demon Boy?
He is not Demon Boy yet.
Oh.
That's what you get for being undivided and not a Primarch.
I guess. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Corferon probably will never ascend to demonhood because he doesn't pick a god.
Well, like, yeah, apparently, like, the only way you're going to be a demon undivided is be Be'lakor or Lorgar or Perturabo.
Yeah, I would like to see if they move, like, when the Horus Heresy is, like, completely finished, I wonder if they'll tackle the Scouring next, because there are some interesting parts there, mostly having to do with Perturabo and Rogel Dorn, which I would like to see. Go ahead.
I was going to say, excuse me, in Anthony Reynolds' The Word Bearers, a lot of some certain sect of the faith of the Word Bearers is dedicated to maintaining their mortal forms. Something like mortal forms retain mortals, save mortal souls. So like they don't want to ascend so that they can stay mortal and help shepherd the rest of humanity into immortality.
Makes sense because like, oh wait, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like they're pretty much going with the last man alive, lock the door kind of thing.
I mean, it makes sense because like once you go to demonhood, before long you just end up in the Great Game and you don't really deal with mortals much anymore.
That might be why like it don't say Corferon is in that subsector or subfaith, but it could explain it.
Like he's your kind of mortal shenanigans.
Yeah, he probably like isn't interested in ascending because that means he sort of loses the grip on real space.
Yeah, because yeah, since he is a real lad, not a demon boy, and Lorgar's a demon Primarch. Corferon's basically in charge of the Word Bearers in real space, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Why lose that?
I mean, he was first captain, which is insane that a human got made first captain of the Word Bearers. Also, can we just, like, as much as I dislike Corferon, it is kind of impressive that a human from some backwater planet was able to, like, reach the lofty heights that he has.
Well, when you've been praising Chaos since day one.
Jeez.
Yes. I mean, he is the OG Chaos praiser.
So basically, an augmented human is leading a Chaos Legion.
Yeah, that's takes balls to do that.
Sometimes not at all. Latara Sauron.
God damn it.
That is true.
That is true. Alright. Even before the Nightmare of the Great Rift, heretic cults had emerged across Taladis, Leonis, and Keyfire systems seeded by the Dark Apostles of the Word Bearers. These prophets and demagogues did not encourage open worship of chaos, for they knew that such overt displays of heresy would draw the full ire of the ecclesiarchy and the holy orders down upon them. Finally, someone mentions the Inquisition.
Huh?
But it does explain that the word bearers were like looking to hide themselves from the Inquisition.
They were thinking
Don't
about
mind
it.
me, just 8 foot tall superhuman walking through here. No big deal.
You'd
He
be
just
surprised.
has a giant freaking tarp over himself. I'm an ogren.
No, here's what happens. The Inquisitor comes up, it's like, why are you 8 feet tall? And he's like, I know, there's 2 people in a trench coat. And then just keeps walking.
Ogren no understand low gothic. Oh, okay. Walks away.
No, something funny that I think might get a laugh out of people. There was a time I didn't know the difference between a demagogue and a demogorgon.
God damn it. Well, one's a 2-headed baboon.
Instead, they cultivated certain subcults and splinter sects of imperial faith that have been barely tolerated, or in some cases actively persecuted by the Adeptus Ministorum, such as the Witnessers of Boris Minor, who believed that only by enduring appalling grief and loss could one become close to the God Emperor. Other targeted cults included the ascetics of the Farine Brotherhood, who saw divinity in humbleness and vows of silence, and the cult of the Cleansing Comet, who dwelt within the deadly asteroid field on the edge of the Taladus, known as the Tears of the Emperor, seeking to commune with their sacred deity. So yeah, here they are. So the word bearers are kind of playing religious jujitsu with what the Ministorum usually does, which is modifying other religions to become the Imperial Creed. The word bearers are doing that just in reverse.
So
which is clever.
Here's a joke that I think you'll appreciate, Victor. So the last guys dealing in the asteroid fields. The asteroid fields are just a bunch of like special grenades. The Tears of the Emperor.
Oh right! God damn it! I do enjoy that joke. Even the fact that I get it makes it even worse.
It does. So this seems like if you had like this going on, along with a Genestealer cult thing going on, along with the Ecclesiarchy thing going on, this would be like a 3-faction video game. You'd be playing Saints Row at that point.
Literally.
I mean, this happens in the Greater Good later on, which we'll cover
Eventually.
eventually.
This just seems like there's a lot. I do like the fact that they do talk about not everything has to be grand. Like they can just bring it down to like the sub faction group, like groups of like we'll say probably like 500 to 1,000 people who believe in this one certain way.
I mean, if you spread the heresy among enough subgroups, it's not the subgroup anymore at the end of it.
Yeah, smart way of handling it.
Actual clever heretics, what's going on here?
Look, the Night Lords.
The Night Lords aren't doing anything interesting.
They scared people.
Look,
With their bat wing helmets and lightning armor.
Look, they're over there consuming their Astartes pattern adhesive.
They're eating their Astartes pattern crayons.
Like it's like now I just imagine they're writing on the walls of the battle barge. What did we tell you? Now clean it.
The worst part is they do write on the walls of blood.
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
Screeching.
I get a lot of hate from the Night Lords fans.
Yeah, it's fine. They'll just skulk back into the shadows and prepare to boo.
Listening to the Linkin Park, their Cure, 3 Days Grace. I used to love those bands.
You
like,
edgelord.
I was a little edgelord.
The GM says, "Sorry, there's not enough dark, shadowy corners for all of you."
Let's not get too off track.
Right. All of these sects had suffered greatly at the hands of Cardinal Morst Bolifax, there's a name, regent of the Veritas subsector and staunch traditionalist. Suspicious of the deviations of faith that had developed in his domain, Bolifax initiated a series of purges to remove subversive figures who had dared to deviate from the unequivocal truth of the Imperial Creed. He sent his most fervent missionaries forth to cleanse these impurities, Shrines and shanty towns were burned, tomes and scriptures seized, and more than 10,000 apostates were crucified or stoned to death for their heathen practices. A dozen subcults of the Imperial Creed were condemned as heretical by the Cardinal's decree. Anyone found practicing their beliefs or ritual was subject to immediate torture or execution. This is Thursday in the Imperium.
You know, with a name like Bullifex, I thought he was gonna be on some Nurgle stuff.
Nope.
Right?
Pure loyalist.
When I first read his name, I thought it was Cardinal Moist Bullifex.
You know, speaking of which, I miss McGurgle.
Oh yeah, you know that.
From our last book.
Where's his girder when you need him?
Where's a gurgle when you need him?
Yeah.
He put those Night Lords. Like, I would have modeled that Demon Prince with just a girder in his hand.
Oh god, you probably grabbed some from Necromunda.
Oh my god, yes. Alright, let's continue.
Alright, what remained of these sects were infiltrated by charismatic orators and zealous iconoclasts in the thrall of the Dark Gods, and directed by the masters of the Word-Bearers. At first, these figureheads preached the supremacy of the God Emperor. They railed against the tyrannical rule of the minister and priests, and the purges and execution they had inflicted upon innocent souls for a simple divergence of belief. Stirring up anger and simmering resentment against the cruel Bullifex, they compared his excesses to those of the infamous Gauche Vandire. That's, again, with the religious jujitsu. They're kind of turning the Imperium's own tactics against them.
Like, at this point, it's imagining two people having a fight, but instead of smacking each other with swords, they're just using Bibles.
Bible fight!
Bible fight!
I just imagine this crackdown happens. They kick down the door of this small church, and they're pointing the guns at everybody. And they look at an old woman, a young man, and an 8-foot-tall Astartes with scrawling on his face, and they're like, "Who is responsible for this? You, Grandma Jenkins."
God damn it!
He just has a sign around his neck that says "Not Astartes."
And then they go take out Grandma Jenkins
and stone her to death.
Can we just talk about how they're going straight medieval on people, just dead ass stone?
Yeah,
and crucifying.
That's what's up. They probably don't crucify in the Imperium.
It just said that they crucified apostates.
Wait, did they?
Yes,
more than
just read
10,000
that.
apostates were crucified or stoned to death. Don't lie.
Hold on.
You
read it out loud with your own voice. We recorded it.
Look,
your
if that's
Imperial
not the
bias
most...
is trying to hide it.
Oh, never mind.
That is not the most imperial thing I've ever heard. We crucify people. You crucify people. We don't crucify people.
Never mind. I did read that.
Although I imagine instead of crosses, they're these big eagle effigies.
Okay, that probably makes sense to me.
I mean, I'm surprised they don't do bloody eagles. That kind of fits their theme.
Fair enough. All right.
They just probably do it and call it wolf eagles.
Wolf eagles.
Spread wolves.
No,
Gross.
Wolves.
All right.
They just out-woo people as they do it.
Goddamn.
Continue.
The brutality of Bullifex's crackdown was the perfect gift for the cultist demagogues of Veritas. By playing upon the climate of fear and hatred, it was almost too easy for them to indoctrinate new followers in the worship of the Chaos Pantheon, and an ever-growing number of disenchanted pilgrims were driven into their clutches. Patiently, they sowed the seeds of true heresy, hiding the nature of their foul beliefs under metaphor and rhetoric. Soul by soul, they cultivated flocks of the damned, and established cells upon distant worlds, even the gleaming capital of benediction itself. The Dark Apostles of the Word-Bearers continued to direct this shadow war from afar, all the while preparing for their eventual assault upon Teledis. Again, it's just continuing on with the same theme.
Well, one thing that they brought up I really like is the fact that when they say it's yes, we're making them worship the Chaos Pantheon, but we're hiding it behind metaphor and rhetoric. And it kind of reminds me of what Lynn Miller did in a Queen's Court, hiding what she was saying behind metaphors and what's it called?
Yeah. Hold on, is this the 40k equivalent of dog whistling?
Yes.
Fair enough.
So, like, I just like the fact that it's like, no, you're not worshiping the Emperor. You're just worshiping, or you're worshiping the 4 aspects of the throne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that'll
know,
work.
Skulls, they represent purity, right? Also,
Saying
that, I have not seen that Iron Warriors art before. He has a bionic leg.
He does have a bionic leg.
Yeah,
Phantom hydraulics.
and his armor is built onto the bionic leg, which is very cool.
They use this mad lad so often.
Also, he has a thunder hammer.
Yeah.
He does. What the heck?
Okay, that's
I thought-
Thunderhammers.
No, Chaos gets 1 thunder hammer.
No. No,
Yes.
it's in their war gear list.
Yeah, but it can only be taken by the Chaos Lords.
No, Chosen can have it.
Chosen are dumb.
You're dumb.
That's true.
For the longest, as I was staring at this picture, I swore to God, to the gods, I thought that his belts had W. I'm like, oh my god, he's set to W for 1.
God damn it. But like Chosen.
What
can
about his
take it.
freaking nipple piercing? We're gonna talk about that.
Champions can take
Iron within, iron without, iron shake it all about.
yeah,
All right, let's get to the next paragraph.
Alright. Calling upon the 1,000-year-old depths and oaths, Corferon, the Dark Cardinal, assembled a conglomeration of allies from across several traitor legions and renegade chapters. The piratical Night Lord's warmonger Yaris Kine was swayed with promises of pious souls to torment, and the finest pickings of a resource-rich system. The Iron Warriors assented to join the destruction, though they had little interest in the Great War of Faith espoused by Corferon, and sought only a testing ground for their demonic war engines. The infernal houses of Rakul and Comentis pledged their Chaos Knight to the unholy cause, and millions of cultists and traitors guard regiments were readied, ritually scarred, and branded with sigils of conviction. So yeah, this is sort of setting up the force organization that we read earlier.
the boys are getting ready for a night on the town.
You know, I like this. They're like, oh, we had to bribe the traitor legions. The Chaos War engines, they're just angry. The guard, yeah, we just brought the guard.
Yeah, it just came along.
The guard are here.
First name Night Lord, and his adjective is piratical.
I mean, don't you love when the Night Lord's got that new character in Vigilus that's part of the Black Legion?
Arg.
Yar.
Do
what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar, har,
Stop.
read what?
Read.
And
Read slave.
Being a Night Lord is alright to be. Just kidding. The grand work gathered pace as the galaxy grew darker. Ruinous hexagrammatic patterns, ruinous now are we, were laid down, monuments of fell power erected.
You have the freaking mental capacity of a 4-year-old.
And mass sacrifices prepared. Industrial cults upon the mining worlds of Koros Veltis used immense excavation lasers to burn 8-pointed stars into the bedrock of the planet. Okay, that's just metal. The witnesses of Boris Minor, now calling themselves the Cult of Loss, slipped into the space lanes of Satropol, infiltrating its tightly packed docking arms and smuggling in weapons and improvised explosives as they awaited the moment of their uprising. Chaos cults grew in strength, their numbers swelling daily.
I'm curious about one thing when you highlight the ruinous on hexagrammatic patterns.
Yes.
Why is that out of the ordinary?
Because the Inquisition used hexagrammatical patterns to fight demons.
Yeah.
Chaos uses them all the time, both 40k and fantasy.
Yeah.
I guess.
There's loyalist versions of it that are all like, demons are bad, go away. And there's bad guy versions of it, which are like, demons are A-okay, summon them here.
Hold on, I just want to check something while you keep going.
All right. And then, with a birth scream that dragged untold billions of malformed horrors into reality, the great rift broke open across the galaxy. Proud Cadia fell, the last barrier between the Eye of Terror and the Segmentum Solar. Demonic entities manifested upon Holy Terra, and the blood god Khorne closed his fist around the heart of humanity. To Khor Pharon's fury, there were whispers that Primarch Rebuta Guilliman had returned. He who had once driven a power claw into the heart of the Dark Cardinal. Only after receiving a warp-granted vision of the resurrected Primarch departing from Terra at the head of an enormous crusade did Khor Pharon unleash the Hounds of War. So the preparation for this thing is happening before the Eye of Terror opens up.
Well, the Cicatrix Maledictum.
The Cicatrix Maledictum, I should say. The Great Rift, Gork's Grin, whatever you want to call it.
Dathadine.
The Dathadine, heck yeah.
So wait, so this is the cause of the Cicatrix Maledictum?
No.
It just
happens on its own. Khor Pharon is just prepping for that. I guess. I'm sure.
Put down the local mat.
I'm sure Khor Pharon knew what was going to happen.
Also, I did not know Rebuta Guilliman used a power claw.
I'm sure they're referring to the Gauntlets of Ultramar.
Probably.
Yeah.
Remember, Guilliman was one of the Primarchs that actually used a multitude of different weapons.
he who has driven a power claw into the heart of the Dark Cardinal. I just picked one up and jabbed it in him.
Picks up an orc power claw. Hey! Wait, what did they call him? Dark Apostle?
Yeah.
Hey, Dark Apostle, catch! What? Ah, damn it, Guilliman!
Unfortunately, it is not a orc one because it would have a K.
It's strange that they call it a power claw and not a lightning claw.
No, because there is a difference in 30k between a power and a lightning claw.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, a power claw goes over a power fist, a lightning claw does not.
Huh.
I see.
And it's at the end, Khor Pharon has cried havoc.
I mean, everybody cries havoc every now and then.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that was it.
Oh, no less than 13 massive battleships carved into the Taladus system, each blood red and daubed with the iconography. Why can't I say that?
Iconography.
Iconography, wow.
Iceland noises.
I was stuck. And daubed with the iconography of the corrupted 17th Legion. There we go. 8 of these planet-killing behemoths met a course for benediction, while the remainder set out for the system's other prominent worlds. Accompanying this invasion force was an armada of lesser vessels, night black reaver ships, rusted hulks, and cargo cutters. As the Word-Bearer's invasion fleet smashed into the outnumbered and outgunned battlefleet Centanis, responsible for the defense of benediction, it also vomited forth a hail of razor-spiked Dreadclaw drop pods.
Woo!
Woo. The inhabitants of the glorious shrine world looked at the skies and saw a rain of fire. As the Word-Bearers commenced their assaults, the cults they had so patiently seated across the system rose up in armed rebellion, and the astropathic relays of Boris Minor and Gretask fell silent. Taladus was alone, and the enemy was at its threshold. Heck yeah.
So it's getting interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's raining then.
One thing I appreciate about this is that because they don't have to focus on so many like individual characters, is like we got the history of both sides, the setup to this, and now I think we're about to get into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Khor Pharon is honestly the only protagonist in this story so far.
Yeah.
Darkness descends.
Okay, wait, hang on. Darkness descends and they have a salamander. Come on, GW. Continue.
As the hordes of chaos descended upon the Taladus systems, all hope seemed lost. Yet, even as flames engulfed the shrine capital of benediction and demonic monstrosities spilled across the surface of multiple worlds, the faith of the God Emperor's flock manifested in new and terrifying ways. Let's see. Onslaught of Chaos. Khor Pharon knew that success of the Chaos invasion of Taladus relied upon laying claim to its capital of benediction. The Dark Cardinal was obsessed with symbology and ritual, and knew that this shining embodiment of the Imperial Creed must burn. Only what the highest spires of the Grand Honorificum were scrawled with the symbols of the Dark Gods and littered with the impaled bodies of the corpse Emperor's servants, would the will of Taladus' subjects truly be broken. His own word-bearers spearheaded the assault on this vital target, slaughtering its defenders and any mortals foolish enough to deny the primacy of the Pantheon. Yet, the Dark Cardinal of the Word-Bearers was well aware that if the Imperials could isolate the battle at Benediction, then they could bring fearsome numbers to bear against the Chaos Invasion force. This was where Farron's tentative allies would prove their worth.
Okay, dumb thing. But look, since we know that they have a bunch of beastmen with them and this whole war is about, religion and apparently capturing a cathedral, I'm just going to headcanon that Malagor's there.
Ha!
And for those of you that are not familiar with Old Fantasy, just think beastmen Baphomet.
Oh my god, yes. Also, Gal Gorehorn is probably here doing Gal Gorehorn things.
Uh-oh.
Gal Gorehorn would like to tell the people of Benediction that Gal Gorehorn is happy to be here.
I mean,
Gal Gorehorn.
It is called the Gore Legion, so...
Oh no. Now I'm picturing Bog Dole as a beastman.
That's pretty much what
That's what Gal Gorehorn was.
Oh no.
Gal Gorehorn is a friend of the weapons industry. Gal Gorehorn lecture style.
God damn it.
God damn it. Alright. Even before the... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Even before the Word-Bearers had fired their first shots upon the surface of Benediction, Yaras Kain and his Night Lords warband had drawn the first blood of the Taladus conflict. A kill team of Night Lord specialists had descended upon the astropathic relay at Satropol, butchering its occupants before setting off a cyclonic charge at the heart of the complex. Ugh. At the same time, the battleship Nightmare of Celix slipped from the warp at the far edge of the Talentus system. This cursed vessel contained thousands upon thousands of captured astropaths, strapped into engines of torment and watched over by the sinister warriors of the Night Lords. That's actually kind of genius.
Okay, but here's the problem. That's genius. It's cool, and they use the tortured astropaths, people can't communicate, they can't travel here, and then just later in the book, it just simply doesn't work. They don't even mention Marines and Sisters just show up.
That's a problem.
In all fairness, the sisters showed up via vision.
See, that makes sense.
Right.
And then, Marines, because, darkness descends. We got Brother Darkness here.
God damn it. Let's see. The Sons of Curse had performed the most horrific tortures upon these luckless souls, driving them into a state of constant pain-addled frenzy. Their combined psychic scream echoed out across the stars, interfering with long-range Vox communications and scrambling the minds of shipborne navigators.
Wouldn't it have just been easier to capture a Tyranid vessel and do the exact same thing with the Shadow and the Warp?
Probably not enough Tyranids.
Fair.
Also, to be fair, if they just had the Shadow and Warp, that would have made it harder for them to actually get there and then do it.
That is also fair.
Yeah. Imperial reinforcements were dragged out of the warp into the killing fields of the Tears of the Emperor, the blazing asteroid field at the rimward edge of the Talentus system. They already explained what it was. There, the Night Lord's fleet waited, anticipating a feast of terror and plunder. So, yeah, Night Lords get to do something, kinda-ish.
Yeah.
Something like a Chaos Navy could do just as easy.
Yeah.
But they at least figured out this astropath trick for other warbands to do.
Yeah.
Because, what's stopping other Chaos Legions from doing this?
Other Chaos Legions can't terrorize people enough.
Emperor's Children. Wait, what?
The Emperor's Children do it better. The Khorne Berserkers do it better. The Word Bearers probably do it better.
The Death Guard probably does it better.
Even the Death Guard would do it better.
Well, the thing is, the Word Bearers do it the smart way. They don't need to. Why torture and terrorize people and risk rebellion when you can just bring them to your side and they'll do it out of their own, not free will?
Just tell them the dark truth.
Yeah.
Or just put a demon in them.
Let's see what the others are up to. Meanwhile, the Iron Warriors, under the command of Warpsmith Etrogar, were tasked with containing the forces at Gradesk, the system's formidably defended bastion world. The Warpsmith saw the outer planets of the Taladus system as the perfect testing ground for newly perfected monstrosity, the Soul Harvesters. These horrific creations were space-borne fortress factories that consisted of a central demon forge surrounded by snaking tentacles of hellforged metal. These parasitic engines would embed themselves deep into a planet's crust, their boarding tentacles disgorging Iron Warriors into weak points in their enemies' defenses. Meanwhile, the roaring furnace at the structure's heart would feed upon flesh, metal, and the souls of the slain in order to spew out fresh demon engine reinforcements. Okay, that is
the most metal thing I have ever seen.
Okay, Iron Warriors, you get a point.
Like, I'm just imagining the Night Lords are like, we created this soul-sacrificing, hellish pit of torment. And they just do this drop pod tentacle monster onto a planet that spews out freaking space marines.
So it's basically that thing from that one Dragon Ball Z movie, the Return of Cooler one, with the thing that grabbed the planet.
The Ghoul Star.
Yeah.
They have the Ghoul Star.
Now they say that this furnace feeds upon flesh, metal, and the souls of the slain. Now the question about the souls of the slain, is it a clean burn?
I tell you what.
So it literally eats cities, people, and souls to give birth to new demon engines and spew them out.
That's pretty metal.
They're channeling some mad Tyranid energy in here.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool.
Demonic freaking digestive system.
Also, good lord, that picture on the right looks terrifying.
Look at that man's chin.
Yeah.
She looks like one of the new sister models.
God damn it.
It looks like the Repentia Superior.
Oof.
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 As far as Corferin was concerned, these assaults were merely a diversion for his grand assault upon Benediction. They would divide Imperial reinforcements, securing him the time he needed to oversee the destruction of Benediction and its rebirth as a shrine of worship to the Chaos Pantheon.
Woo-woo.
Alright, then comes the counterattack.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, the good guys only show up when things get bad.
Yeah, why else do you think the Ward Bears are here?
Thanks, Goku. Ooh, white. Well said.
Thank you.
Huh. Alright. The Imperium mobilizes. The assault upon Taladus came entirely without warning, and the system's Actually, no, it didn't come entirely without warning. Sisters got visions about it, man. Come on.
Nope, entirely without warning.
Get it straight. And the system's significant Astra Militarum presence was left reeling before the Chaos onslaught. On the surface of Benediction, a makeshift coalition of shattered Imperial Guard regiments fell back to the Grand Honorificum, there uniting under the command of Canoness Sarita of the Order of Our Martyred Lady.
Now, interesting enough, though Canonesses have no power over Astra Militarum, typically Astra Militarum commanders yield to the presence of the Sororitas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you want your commander to have power armor? I know I would.
Like before the Space Marines showed up on Vigilus, or specifically Marnius Kelgard, the defenders are being led by a Canoness Superior.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Alright. Battle fleets Ios and Cimeris, orbiting the bastion world of Gradask prior to the assault, suffered terrible losses as they attempted short-range warp jumps to the embattled capital. Warp interference claimed the lives of dozens of navigators, their skulls bursting in a shower of bone and gore, unable to contain the magnitude of the Night Lord's corrupted signal. Others felt themselves inexorably drawn towards the psychic scream of desperation. So, throwing another bone to the Night Lords.
Basically, until your head explodes.
I have a joke, but I'm not going to say it.
Captain, get away from the navigator. You're in the splash zone.
All right. On all fronts, the Chaos forces surge forward, their momentum terrifying to behold. Upon the surface of Benediction itself, the Word-bearers, under the direction of Cor Ferron, committed terrible atrocities and mass executions, weakening the fragile membrane between reality and the warp. Alright, prepping some demon summonings.
Yeah.
Like demons.
One thing I always wonder is,
Traitors everywhere.
What, John?
one thing I always wonder is because obviously they were prepared for the reinforcements of the Imperium. Like they were pretty prepared. What happens? Like they're pointing all their guns at this one sector of space, but instead of like battle barges and like dauntless like cruisers, it's literally just like a space Hulk and trillions upon trillions of orc ships. Like they just heard something. Like, are they prepared? Do they ever consider like just other factions, not the ones they're thinking about, just showing up? Like, what if it's just a Tyranid hive fleet just comes up from behind?
In
I
all,
don't know where.
in all fairness, typically, space is so vast that it's usually one-on-one combats.
I mean, you kind of can't plan for those things. You can only kind of plan for what you know. And
Like-
Cor Ferron only knows the Imperium in this place.
Like the most you'll get ahead of time is just, something is coming to the warp at us.
Yeah.
Like those poor
it's-
dudes on Vigilus got attacked by Orks, which caused the Genestealer cult to rise up, and then Chaos showed up.
Yeah. I don't think anyone was planning on the other.
And then Eldar out of nowhere.
Yeah. Just rub salt in the wound. All right. Within the Sanctum Solaris, at the heart of the Grand Honorificum, more than 10,000 priests, acolytes, and non-militant sororitas gathered in communal prayer, not moving, eating, or taking water for days, even as the guns of the Word-bearers thundered relentlessly. They prayed to the God Emperor for salvation, and the light of their faith was a furious beacon, visible from far across the cold blackness of space. So yeah, the Great Rift is also helping with this.
Alright.
Makes
That's
sense.
people praying for days. I believe it.
I also do like that I have accurately represented this in Dark Heresy, but that's beside the point.
Okay, Victor, enough patting yourself on the back.
I mean, I'll take the chance.
If you just imagine a second Victor patting him on the back.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Victor. No problem, Victor. I appreciate you, Victor. Yeah, Victor.
That
Meanwhile-
just intensifies.
No, here's what happens. There's only one Dark Heresy rulebook, so they fight to the death over it.
No, it's like that scene from that one movie where they're sculpting, and the one has the arms over the other.
Oh, please, no.
That's some artwork that needs to get made.
Let's see, where's Photoshop?
Anyway,
Just as the hours seem darkest, it truly does. The Honorificum's long-range prognosticator arrays picked up a surge of activity in the coreward edge of the Taladis system. At first, it was feared that this new presence was merely another fleet of Chaos warships, but the macro-encoded box transmission from the strike cruiser Fulminating Hammer brought the first signs of hope to the beleaguered defenders of Benediction. Captain Mirsan of the Salamanders had heard the pleas of the faithful, and led a spearhead of Adeptus Astartes warriors to the defense of Talentus. Oh no, the darkness is descending.
So this actually bugs me because I know they're probably going to forget this, but humans are the captains of Space Marine ships.
Well, he can be just the captain on a ship.
Of the
Like
Danish
it's
company.
Yeah.
he's not the captain of a ship. It just specifies he's the captain of the Salamander Company.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't say which.
Also, I find it really amusing that most Space Marine chapters have a couple of guard regiments of the same name, same color scheme.
Yeah.
You can hear about this on McCrag.
I mean, McCrack probably has the PDF in the same color as the Ultramarines, so
No, they actually
Yes.
have the guard regiment. In fact, the what is it? The tank, the Hera tank.
The Venerable Baneblade.
Yeah, that's
They
the
got-
guard regiment of the Ultramarines.
Poor tank.
poor tanks.
Carnifex is
Alright.
out of nowhere.
I mean, to be fair, isn't the every solution to a Tyranid problem just throw Carnifexes at it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they did to an Avatar of Cain.
That's true. Alright. At his ritual sites on the banks of the river Carmine, within an 8-pointed star made up of the bloodied corpses of saints and warriors, Corferon saw the arrival of the Imperial war fleet. Such a response had been expected, of course, and the appropriate preparations had been made. As far as Faerun was concerned, it was all the better that the Corpse Emperor's lapdogs were here to witness the brutal fall of Benediction.
Okay, so such a response had been expected, and of course preparations had been made, so he knew the Night Lord's thing wasn't going to work.
Yep.
He probably planned on not counting on the Night Lords.
Ha.
He was like, all right, those losers aren't going to do their job. Let's plan for that.
What are you doing? We're creating a psychic scream! You do realize that that's just going to echo throughout everything and make this a giant target. In fact, more ships are going to show up thinking it's Tyranids, right? We tortured these people! Yeah! Lincoln Park intensifies.
Go back to saying that the word bearers committed terrible atrocities and mass executions. Okay, let's keep going.
Let's stop dunking on the Night Lords for now.
Never.
No.
All right.
They kind of asked for it.
Let's handle the sidebar before we...
In their own novels, they are the most badass chaos fleet there is. In everything else, they're written as cartoon bad guys, and
They are cartoon bad guys. Now, come on.
I mean, the Alpha Legion hasn't even showed up yet.
I don't.
Are you in this book?
Oh, wait. I thought the Alpha Legion was here.
Hold on.
Think
They never show up in the Force organization list, but I do think they're in this.
All right, let's handle the sidebar. Communicatis Benedictus, Neo Pluris Ultra. Faithful of the God Emperor, listen now to the miracle of North Prime and the coming of the humble saints. Simple folk they were, agri-workers and slaughterhouse serfs, seed harvester and grox farmers. Yet when darkness came to their world, when the witch and the heretic walked openly upon the blessed soul of North Prime, they were filled with holy light. Cleansing fire wreathed their bodies and spat from their weathered fingers. Where it touched, the unclean and the damned alike were burned to ashes. Such is the immortal power of your God Emperor. Thus is his will made manifest. Hear this, my children. Through honest labor shall you find enlightenment. Through profit tithe and benefaction shall you earn your divine blessing. Give selflessly in body, spirit, and wealth. The Emperor protects. Cardinal Astra, Fabian Stroll of Siegfrieda's March.
Okay.
End transmission.
I'm just gonna say, Victor, your voice does not match that picture that's right there.
I know, but...
For God of the God Emperor. Okay, so that's Malone. All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
so saints are just sprouting like leaves.
Yeah, I will say they are kind of repeating themselves a bit, but like I think they've gotten but I think it is to set up the picture of like it's about to go down.
Like there's lots of literal holy crap.
All right. Blames of heresy. The word bearers converge upon the capital world of Benediction with the full fury of their blasphemous hosts, unleashing hordes of ravening demons and frenzied cultists upon the unprepared shrine world. Yet Benediction was not without formidable champions of its own. Dark Onslaught. The fury of the word bearers' assault brought terror to the surface of Benedictions. Dreadclaws, punched through the stained armor-glass ceilings of mausoleums and devotional halls, and access hatches slammed down to reveal warriors in blood-red power armor. Scraps of parchment scrawled with profane runes dangled from their battle plates, and their eyes blazed with conviction. These killers marched beneath the banners of the dark gods, bellowing catechisms of hate as their bolters unleashed a hail of devastation upon the world's overwhelmed Imperial Guard garrison. The Gredusk 37 Armor and the 101st Infantry Regiments, whose impressive battle records had granted them the honor of maintaining a permanent guard over the honorificum, were taken entirely by surprise at the speed and brutality of the assault. Can Chaos take drop pods without Forge World?
No.
Boo. Boo, I say.
It said Dreadclaws earlier.
It did. Meh.
Like talk about Dread Claws is that they can drop and then go back up, and you can put obliterators in them.
Right. Alright. Worse still, hidden chaos cults emerge to throw themselves upon the defenders, spilling from the planet's underwarrens in the millions to join their masters in sacred battle. In little more than half a day, the grounds surrounding the honorificum were in chaos hands. Amidst the shattered skeletons of cathedrals and shrines, rituals of mass sacrifice and slaughter were being performed on an industrial scale as the word-bearer sought to draw forth demonic reinforcements. Corferon himself oversaw these occult ceremonies, even as batteries of corrupted artillery hurled a ceaseless barrage of warp-laden shells into the Psi-Tech force fields that surrounded the honorificum. That's just a void shield, right?
Oh, there's them Psi-Tech force fields again from Vigilus.
They don't say void shields.
Well, like apparently this is something different. Like because they introduce these on Vigilus, say that they're these Psi-Tech force fields that Vigilus just produces them, sends them out to other worlds, and I don't think this is too far from Vigilus. So the weird thing is that actually never mind. Like okay, so on Vigilus in the first pages it says that the Great Rift opening and the psychic shenanigans made the Psi-Tech force fields shut down, but later in the book they say what actually happened was the Genestealer cult just turned them off.
Oh. God damn it.
No, but I think it's also a way of them getting around void shields, because void shields is not a copyrightable word.
Okay.
Captain Mirsan's demi-company of salamanders was greatly outnumbered by the word-bearer's host. The sons of Vulcan nonetheless went about their craft with stoic efficiency, clearing a beachhead amidst the mausoleum complexes of the honorificum's outer grounds, with flame-spewing aggressors and Centurion devastators. Captain Mirsan desired to dictate and confine the flow of battle by harrying the main concentration of the enemy, attempting to draw them into diverting their strength to engage the salamanders. In this way, further civilian casualties could be lessened, and the Space Marines could bear the brunt of the assault. However, attempts to reinforce the eastern flank of the Loyalist defenders were driven back by kill packs of possessed warriors and a fresh surge of cultist forces. Corferon would not take Captain Mirsan's proffered bait. The Grand Honorificum remained his focus, for with its fall the Dark Cardinal would deal a mortal blow to the Imperial faith. Should we handle the sidebar at the bottom?
Yeah.
Alright. Anyone want to comment on that last thing? It's mostly just salamanders being salamanders.
Yeah, and then Corferon being like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah,
brah.
this is fine. They've established a beachhead. It's fine. We prepared for all of this. Did you prepare for the Space Marines' victory? Yes? Oh, okay. I guess you did prepare.
Oh, damn.
Chaos Space Marine victory.
Proceeds to leave the Night Lords behind.
Ha.
All right. Benediction. A monument to the ecclesiarchy's limitless funds and penchant for unrestrained grandeur. Benediction is the capital world of the Veritas subsector, and one of the most influential planets in the segmentum solar. Temple cities and labyrinthine devotional trails cover 9/10 of its surface, and the only areas not built upon consist of immense artificial waterways, clogged by the floating shanty fleets of hopeful pilgrims and itinerant missionaries. A smog of censer smoke hangs like a shroud over the shrine world, infusing everything with a pungent smell of sacred oils and herbs.
And essential oils.
Hey, those essential oils keep Nurgle away.
I mean, in 40k, it probably works like all other nonsense that works.
Okay, so what you're basically saying is that 90% of the planet is being all holy, while the other 10% is apparently just plain wrath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alright. Largest of all the planet's structures is the Grand Honorificum, a star-scraping cathedral that houses the chambers of Cardinal Bolifax and a fortress sanctuary of the Order of Our Martyred Lady. A Psi-Tech force field of vigilant construction, there you go, envelops the Honorificum, impenetrable to all but the most ferocious planet-killing weaponry. Its soaring arch spires are home to 7 enormous macro flak batteries littered with heavy guns and organ rocket arrays.
Yes.
I approve. The
Organ
honorificum,
rocket arrays. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
I mean, they are just like emplaced.
Just emplaced, supersized exorcist.
Yeah,
I love
emplacement exorcists. The honorificum is at the center of ecclesiarchal power in the Veritas subsector, the repository in which the system's masses of gold, tithes, and indulgences are gathered. This domed superstructure stands upon an immense man-made island, surrounded by the blessed waters of the River Carmine, named after its earlier leader. 4 great bridges span this waterway, lined with the statues of past ecclesiarchs and legendary heroes of the Imperial Creed. I wonder if Jacobus has a statue there.
Hobo chain.
I mean, that's the thing. Like in the Shira Calpurnian novels, Enforcer, Jacobus does have a statue on Hydrafer, so you'd think.
Everyone has a statue to our old hobo with a shotgun.
Of course.
I mean, who doesn't like Hobo-chan?
Yeah, he's great. The most recent planetary census estimated the population of Benediction to be somewhere in the region of 100 billion souls, though the transitory nature of its populace and the constant flow of wayfaring devotees from neighboring system make that number impossible to verify. You know what's funny? That's just the 1/3 population of Disolium.
Wow.
Damn.
So it sounds like a lot, but not really. Not in the Imperium.
Shrine World versus High World any day.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, going back to the main text now. Although they were sorely pressed, the warriors of the Order of Our Martyred Lady defended the 4 great bridges leading to the heart of the honorificum with stubborn resolve. Warriors clad in obsidian power armor sang hymnals to the saints of benediction and to their beloved God Emperor as they fired back against the blasphemous horde. Exorcist tanks sang, unleashing spiraling volleys of sacred rocket that pulverized entire formations of heretic invaders. The roar of heavy flamers and the thunderous bark of Godwin Diaz-patterned bolters formed a deafening percussion to accompany the psalms of the faithful. This sounds like a concert.
Yeah, it does.
Sounds awesome. Alright. Oh wow, there's a really long paragraph coming up.
Have fun.
Oh boy. Alright. It was a brave and spirited defense, but it could not last. The blood of thousands of flayed priests spilled into the crystal waters of the river's Carmine. Well, that's just rubbing it in. Damn it, Corferon. As Corferon's rituals came to a gruesome crescendo. As the river turned crimson, it began to bubble and boil with motions. Hideous shapes crawl from the corrupted waters, wielding brazen blades and howling in savage delight. The river Carmine itself broke its banks and surged towards the side shield of the Grand Honorificum. A tidal wave of superheated gore swallowed hundreds of battle sisters and gunmen. This is the blood tide. Holy crap, you can actually do this ritual in Black Crusade.
Yep.
Go figure. Let's see. And turned battle tanks and artillery emplacements alike into iron slurry. Sounds great. The moment it struck the shimmering shield of the honorificum, the defenses of the great cathedral fizzled and died. The way to the heart of benediction was open, and Corferon led his warriors forth with bellowing praises to the dark gods. They themselves taken aback by the potency of their warp craft. Wait, they hadn't planned on that?
Wow, this is really, really cool. I was expecting like 1 or 2, not 12.
Breaches in reality torn open by ritual and incantation continued to grow, drawing forth not just hordes of minor entities, but the leathery bat-wing shapes of greater demons. Bolts of summoned energy, warp energy erupted into coruscating fireballs, and in the heat of battle several word-bearers fell, convulsing as hungering mouths and other strange mutations burst through skin and ceramite.
Yes.
Nice. Entire districts of benediction were overrun, and demons spilled into the halls of the Grand Honorificum itself, where the Sisters of Battle staged a desperate room-by-room stand. Okay, that's a pretty sweet scene.
It basically went from holy choir to heavy metal.
Metal. Alright. Let's see. Miracle of the Saints' Wall. With the collapse of the last bastion between the word-bearers and the heart of benediction, the battle for the capital world seemed decided. Yet Canoness Sarita and her warriors refused to give in to despair. They fought with selfless dedication and fury, striking out with gun butts, blades, and chainswords when ammunition ran dry. Those who looked upon this valorous stand were filled with holy fire. Civilians and cosseted ministers alike took up weapons against the forces of chaos. First, the word-bearers and their demonic allies laughed at such pitiful defiance. Yet, as the blood of the faithful spilled, spears of golden light broke through the stained armor-glass windows of the Honorificum. As the prayers of the God Emperor's servants echoed over screams and gunfire, it seemed to astonished onlookers that the dead souls of benediction arose to protect the living.
And so begins a pattern for the rest of the book.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Golden, skull-faced spirits swept forth from ancient tombs and reliquaries, rising high into the heavens to encircle the grand honorificum. These manifestations formed a shield of impassable light, a radiant halo that filled the faithful who looked upon with renewed hope. Demons and heretics that attempted to force their way through this aegis of faith were burned to ashes. Even the word-bearer's artillery could not force a breach in the shield. Where the golden light of the Saints' Wall shone, the barrier between reality and the nightmare realm of the warp was remade. Alright, so there's a gigantic invulnerable save happening right now.
Yeah,
against
that's just the
entire
shield
building.
of faith.
Ah,
This is gonna keep happening through the book.
oh boy.
They're about to just magic their way out of this entire
Yeah,
situation.
they magic their way out of the entire situation.
I mean, they keep saying that the Emperor protects, and like, how much more proof do you need here?
Yeah, the Emperor's quite literally protecting.
Yeah. Alright. Corferon could only look on in fury as great swaths of demonic army he had summoned disintegrated into nothingness, howling in impotent rage as their connection to the material realm was severed. Inspired by the bizarre phenomenon they had witnessed, mere sound salamanders launched fresh assaults on the advanced formations of the word-bearers, breaking through to the bridge over the River Carmine and cutting the heretic force in two. Alright, so Corferon had not planned on succeeding at first, but hadn't planned for failing.
No, they just succeed more than they thought they would.
Hmm.
And also, I checked it. It's not a giant info save reading the rules for this battle. It's a feel no pain.
Oh, okay.
Still,
Alright.
it's still just like, hey, you know, we spent like an entire half of this book getting everything prepared, and now everything's getting undone just because magic.
Faith plot bullcrap.
Hey, all I'm reading is the Emperor is better than the 4 pantheons of chaos.
What I'm reading is this nonsense.
Memory is big ol' Martin Sue.
Alright. The battle for benediction had not been decided by any measure, but the momentum of the word-bearer's assault had been repelled, and the Grand Honorificum remained in loyalist hands. Still, the Dark Cardinal had no intention of retreating, not with benediction so nearly in his grasp. Whispers filtered out across the tides of the warp, dark communiques summoning chaos reinforcements to the Taladis Theater. Alright, so Corferon is probably... Yeah, he's gonna get the Iron Warriors, because why would he call on the Night Lords?
Night Lord, scare them! Hooga booga booga! Emperor protects! Punch. It didn't work, they just hit me again.
Ow. Alright.
I'd start with the blurb on the side.
Yeah, next up is Wrath of Iron, but there is a sign on the... there's a sidebar. Let's see. Addendum 066-A. Wax transmission received. Priority Viridian Maxis. This is Interrogator Harkin broadcasting unintelligible. Safe House Prima Gladian. This is a distress call. Priority Viridian Maxis. On frequency 078 Alpha Nexus Carmine. Oh, Holy Throne. Exchange of gunfire. Unidentified sound signature. Unintelligible. Breach the cordon. Yaskon and the others are dead, or worse. It's just me. It's just me. I don't have long. Unintelligible. Was never a weapon like we thought. It was a gate and, redacted. The Adrian system is dead. Do not come here. That's what they want. They want you to come for us, but by the God Emperor, you have to stay away. Static burst, possible detonation. The Emperor protects. The Emperor protects. The Emperor at gunfire followed by protected screaming. End transmission.
Ha.
So
It's cool
that's
to
an
see
Inquisition guy.
Yeah, that's an interrogator.
Yeah.
Look at that dude's portrait.
Yeah. Looks like a swell dude.
It's Bane.
Huh.
It is Bane.
You barely adopted the Inquisition. I was born in it. Molded by it. Alright. Wrath of Iron. Even as the fighting for Benediction escalated to new heights of savagery, the Iron Warriors drew Imperial reinforcement into a brutal war of attrition on the world of Gradask. Let's hear about this awesome planet-eating thing that we heard about earlier. Demonic industry. Warpsmith Etrogar had no interest in Cora Farron's grand plans for the Taladis systems. A ruthlessly practical soul, Etrogar saw the rampant psychic disturbance unleashed by the Great Rift not as a spiritual awakening, but an infinite source of power to be harnessed. The Warpsmith entered Taladis at the helm of the soul harvester Skarax Krond. More spaceborne factory than starship, this cephalopodic metal monster was powered by an immense demon forge, a product of the Iron Warriors' darkest experiments in metamorphosis and warp engineering. It would be the first such creation to be tested in battle. Okay, so it's a gigantic... what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a gigantic cephalopod.
Yeah. So it's a space crab? No.
No, it's literally a Tyranid vessel.
Oh, yep, space squid. It's
Space squid. Ooh.
It's just the Tyranid vessel.
They
That's
literally
metallic.
created a mecha kraken.
Mecha Kraken. Activate. Alright.
Yeah, but it ain't
With
no
it-
Gorgzilla.
No.
They said just craps are demon engines.
So it's a gigantic space kraken demon engine. Cool.
It eats planets.
That eats planets, yeah.
Alright.
Alright. With its vast alpine ranges and city-sized citadel fortresses, the bastion world of Gradask was the most heavily defended planet in the Taladis system, aside from Benediction itself. Its 7 great hive cities provided billions of souls for the Astra Militarum, and its deep reserves of promethium and super-dense minerals only added to Gradask's critical value to the Imperium, making it an irresistible target for Etrogar. Okay, so it's a hive/mining world then.
Huh. Makes sense.
Alright. The Skarax Krond latched onto the surface of Gradask like an immense parasite, thrusting pseudopods the size of hat blocks deep into the earth. These snaking tentacles pulverized their way through rock and stone with siege drills and melta-cannons before bursting up from the earth within the walls of Gradask's citadel fortifications. Heretic Astari's warriors marched forth, unleashing deadly volleys of bolt rounds into the unprepared foes. How are you unprepared for something like this? Like, it's not like it's hidden.
I don't think they expected a giant space squid to tunnel through the earth with its tentacles and then spit out iron warriors.
Fine.
And apparently Chaos Knights too.
Oh, at the same time, Chaos Knights of House Comentis lumbered from the gatehouse of Skarax Krond, bellowing oaths of destruction as they set upon the armored formations of the Astra Militarum.
I'll say this again, Iron Warriors, you get a point.
Yeah, like this is some pretty metal stuff.
Quite literally.
Tank after tank was blasted into molten slag, and arcs of heavy bolter fire obliterated entire formations of Gradask infantry. All the while, the demon forge of the Skarax Krond glutted itself upon the aura of death and destruction. Blasted corpses and twisted wreckages of shattered war machines were shoveled into its furnaces, as Etrogar and his fellow warpsmiths stoked the hellish fires with the souls of the slain. The Skarax Krond spewed out a tide of demon engines, from scuttling spider-like venom crawlers to hulking mauler fields that galloped into battle, eager to mutilate and destroy. Soon, the Loyalists were in full flight, retreating to the polar citadel of Fortress Resolve, where they prepared to make their final stand. Man, it's pretty sweet to be an Iron Warrior right now.
Like how do you fight the bands on the planet? tunnels through. So not only are you already having Space Marines and Chaos Knights is showing up where you are past your fortifications, but it is eating both your planet and the fortifications, start pumping out demon engines out of nowhere.
Yeah, this. If you don't have a fleet in orbit, you're it's you're kind of screwed.
I like it. I want one.
Yeah, can we get rules, please? Get on it, Forge World. All right. Actually, that would probably be pretty easy for them to make. They already have Tyranid ships.
Have one latch onto the phalanx, damn it.
Ah. Yeah. Eat the phalanx.
Yes.
I can dig it. All right. Forlorn Hope. Just as the cruisers of the Iron Warriors prepared orbital bombardments that would blast open the last vestiges of resistance on Grodask, the Chaos Fleet picked up a surge of warp disturbance. 2 enemy capital ships dropped out of orbit, black vessels bearing the stark white cross of the Righteous Black Templar chapter. Where are you, Night Lords?
Weren't they supposed to be stopping Ream?
Are they? Feels like they're being ignored by the author and the combatants.
No, they show up later to get beaten up by the White Scars.
Ah. Alright. Let's see what the Black Templars do. Castellan Dramos led a single strike force detached from the Ruthenian Crusade. Never heard of it. All that could be spared due to the Templars' extensive campaigns elsewhere across the Segmentum Solar. Fortunately, Dramos could also call upon a cadre of Imperial Knights from House Mortan, commanded by the dour yet ferocious Sir Dirkwald. Dramos scanned the latest tactical cogitations broadcast from the Fortress Resolve. The situation was grim. The Iron Warriors were besieging the Polar Citadel, pouring demonic forges against its shield walls, while their siege tank kept up a relentless bombardment. Yet the true threat, Dramos quickly intuited, was the Scarab Crown. Jeez, I wonder why. I think the thing that's eating the planet is the true threat.
It's a giant metal demonic space grid grabbing the planet and eating it, spitting out demon engines everywhere.
Brothers,
that might be a priority.
Brothers, you might not see it, but the true threat lies before us.
I'm just imagining them sitting there, staring at the 2 planets like, we could take out some artillery tanks, or we can go after the giant space squid that's eating the planet. Brothers, I am at a conundrum.
Space squid.
All right. Hold on. We'll toss a coin for it.
Jeez.
As long as the Demon Forge was operational, the traders could replenish their forces indefinitely. This is not making the Black Templars look smart. Strike Force Dawnhammer would deploy in a decisive attack upon the Soul Harvester. Okay, that's okay. At least they, at least the Black Templars know what's up.
I'll go for the armed and fully operational Demon Forge.
Yeah, that's no space. That's no space squid. That's a Demon Forge.
Okay, like at some point we have to get a book where the giant mecha squid fights a giant Tyranid squid.
Yeah, make it happen. All right. The warriors of House Mortan made for the surface of Grodask in their fortified bulwark landers, the heavily armored vessels shrugging off reams of flak fire. Sir Dirkwald, led a frontal assault upon the Scarab's Krond. From the parapets of the Soul Harvester, Iron Warriors poured a stream of fire down upon the advancing loyalists. While the knights drew the attention of the Chaos Defenders, a squad of Inceptors descended upon the Soul Harvesters like living comets, burning through the upper atmosphere and locking coordinates upon the pulsing shell of the Scarab's Crown. They struck home with a shattering force, breaching holes in the flesh-metal carapace with demolition charges, even as they fended off flocks of fire-spitting Helldrakes. Inceptors fighting off Helldrakes?
Yeah.
Alright. Castellan Dramos led the assault into the heart of the Scarab's Crown, battling through the innards of the Iron Monster, alongside a retinue of veteran crusaders. Alright, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Are crusaders non-primaries?
They're non-primaris.
Well, no. Well, when they say veteran crusaders, they I know it's capitalized in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they
I'd say
mean their
so.
Shield Brothers squads.
Yeah. So they are non-primaris then.
I'll
Yeah,
say
I
I'll
mean,
bring that up.
if this is at the start, like if this is right at the start of the Great
Yeah,
Rift happening, this is not
I get
far
it.
enough into the Indomitus craze to have veteran primaris. I
Yeah,
would
so
argue.
those Inceptors would be first generation Primaris then.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the kind that can only be Inceptors. But what I want to point to is like House Morton with their bulwark landers. So there's basically like night drop pods.
Yep.
Yeah. Like it says fortified bulwark landers. It's basically like think of the ships the Mechanicus uses to land Titans on planets. It's just smaller than that.
What's really cool is Knights deploy one of two ways. Either in giant drop pods, which is like the coolest thing ever, or in Dawn of War 3, which has a really good story, terrible game.
Mm-hmm.
When the ship malfunctions, that's trying to get them into low orbit to drop the pods with the knights in them, the knight literally just leaps out.
Jeez.
And that's why it crashes down to the earth and then has to get up.
Hey, GW, engine war, deep striking knights, let's go.
Oh my god, yes.
Look, if the Blood Angels could have deep striking land raiders at one point, Knights can deep strike too.
Flying dreadnoughts.
That too.
Alright.
This assault team suffered grievous losses as the Iron Warriors assailed them at every turn, but in an act of self-sacrifice that would mark their names in the honor scrolls of their order, Dramos and his command squad managed to detonate a cyclonic charge at the heart of the structure. Well done.
They
Well
really
done,
like these cyclonic charges.
I mean,
It's a cool word.
they do the job.
But hold on, looks like it might not be enough.
Yeah. The resulting warp explosion swept through the Soul Harvester, immolating loyalist and heretic alike and blasting its assembly hall and charnel factories to atoms. The Scarab's Krond convulsed and thrashed its metal tendrils like a wounded animal, but its demonic furnaces would not be snuffed out so easily. Dramos' sacrifice had brought the defenders of Gradask precious time, but the planet's fate still hung in the balance. Interesting, so they didn't...
They didn't destroy it. Wounded it. I hear the thing, the Iron Wars brought that here as a test run, so now they're just taking notes on that.
Yeah, alright. There's a sidebar here called Ancient Oaths. The conflict that raged upon Gradask was dominated by the presence of super heavy war machines and enormous armored battalions. Striding through the hailstorm of shells and rocket barrages came the towering forms of Imperial Knights, as well as their dark mirror, the dreaded Chaos Knights. Both of these bitter enemies upheld ancient oaths to their liege lords with unwavering certainty. In the case of the corrupted houses, the refusal to break bonds of honor had found them fighting on the wrong side of the Horus heresy.
Shut up.
Supporting the traitorous forces of War Master Horus as they made war upon the Imperium of Mankind. That's well, we at least know whose perspective this is. All right. House Mortan provided the majority of the loyalist war engines on Gradask, with no less than 6 knights hailing from the darksome world of Kimdaria. Veteran beast hunters, all of the Morton Knights hailed from a world wreathed in perpetual darkness and ravaged by predatory behemoths, a harsh place that had forged iron-hard souls. They proved invaluable in the battle against the demon engines of Scarab's Krond, corralling the twisted abominations with fleet armigers before tearing them apart with creeper chainswords and thunderstrike gauntlets. Yay, armigers get mentioned.
Yay.
Yay.
You gotta love
Let's see.
baby knights.
Yeah,
Baby
apparently
night,
they're
baby night, baby night,
Apparently
baby
they're-
night.
Chaos Knight, do.
yeah, boy.
Loyal knight. Alright. Warpsmith Etrigar had forged pacts with houses Comentis and Rakul, both of whom were sworn to serve the Dark Mechanicum, the unholy counterpart to the Adeptus Mechanicus. The war machines of Rakul belch acidic vapors from vents and exhaust ports. A pall of chemical smog wreathed them in battle, dissolving the flesh and armor of anything that strayed within its bounds. The warriors of Comentis kept demonic spirits hunting thralls and took cruel delight in chasing down and brutalizing wounded and damaged Imperial knights. Both houses favored the rush and crash of close combat, a craving that the loyalist nobles of House Mortan were only too glad to accommodate. Gradask shook to the impact of Titan killing weaponry as these two ancient foes dueled, prepare to fight to the bitter end. So we do get an anime battle.
But
Yeah, we
you're saying,
literally get a Gundam fight.
so if I recall, House Morton is the playable house on Tick, right?
Yep.
So
Yes.
it could be hinted the possibility in Engine War of Chaos Knights actually get houses with benefits
Yeah.
rather than just Iconolist or Inferno.
That
Let's hope.
I
Yes.
mean, it's the easy thing to do
yeah,
because
like that's an easy way to set it up.
everyone else is getting stuff like that.
Yeah, some even getting custom stuff.
Yeah.
Ye-
You might even get to make your own Chaos Knight house.
That'd be fun.
All right. Screams in the void. Oh boy, here we go. Night Lord's
The
time.
Night Lords are here. Look, see, they're
Da-da-da-da.
doing stuff.
They finally showed up at the end.
Why?
All right,
Look
let's
at that. They found rich crayon packets.
God damn. Okay,
let's keep going. Yaras Kain and his Night Lord's warband found rich pickings amidst the asteroid field known as the Tears of the Emperor, broadcasting a terrible psychic signal. Yeah. They lured their prey into darkness before hunting and tormenting them with sadistic delight. Their latest quarry, however, would not prove such an easy kill. Wait, so now it's a lure instead of like signal jamming?
Oh,
Well, I
hold
remember
up.
the one ship was trying to jump to it.
Oh right.
Yeah, because it did. Like, yeah, it jammed, but it's not like a jammer. It's more so screaming so loud you can't hear anything else.
Yeah. I honestly thought, like, when I first read what they were doing, I honestly thought they were trying to like stop astropathic messages to get out.
Well, like I said, I think that's kind of what they did, but
If only they had mentioned it.
yeah, something else got out. But
Yeah.
here's the thing I want to bring up. So, word bearers are on one planet fighting, sisters and salamanders, and now we're having a big old battle of demons and glowy skeleton ghost of bullcrap. And on another planet, we have a giant demon squid eating a planet. Well, there's like fleet battles and northern battles going,
And deep striking Black
cold,
Templars and all that.
and night fights. And now in some asteroids, Night Lords are having fun. Like just oof.
It kind of drops off a cliff, doesn't it?
Yeah, like Night Lords fans, I'm sorry, but you're kind of getting screwed in this book.
I mean, at least the White Scars will show up now.
Oof.
Oof. Tears of Agony. The nightmare of Celix drifted through the tears of the Emperor, broadcasting its terrible signal across the stars. Following the siren ship closely were the shadowed hulls of Night Lord's vessels. As Imperial cruisers and escort ships were dragged off course into the belt, these Reaver ships would strike hard and fast, firing boarding hooks and unleashing hunting parties of heretic Astartes upon their stricken prey. Such was the horror let loose by the Night Lords that the tears of the Emperor burned blood red. The asteroid field was visible from the surface of Taladis' worn-torn world, a ragged wound in the sky that promised a bloody and terrible end.
Aren't like asteroids and asteroid fields like really, 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 really far apart from each other?
Yes.
Yes, it would be hard to see, considering that the Great Rift is also in the sky.
Yeah, I think you're little busy looking at that.
Yeah,
Oh well.
Also, the naked eye wouldn't be able to see them anyway.
Yeah.
fair enough, mostly because you can't see through an atmosphere that easily.
I mean, hell, you probably wouldn't even see the Great Rift, but
Apparently you do. Like in Vigilus, since they're closer to it, the people there got banned from looking up at night.
Yeah, like, if you're close enough to the Great Rift, you can just look up and see purple.
Oh.
Alright. As the battle for the Taladis system raged on, more and more desperately needed reinforcements disappeared. Driven mad by the strength of the psychic broadcast, Navigators were drawn unerringly into the Night Lord's trap. Astra Militarum generals and officers of the fleet despaired, for every lost ship was a heavy blow to the Imperium's hopes of containing the Tacitus conflict. Okay, so it's kind of working.
Okay, like they couldn't stop the Templars, but they're stopping Militarum stuff. So okay,
yeah, Navy ships then. Yeah. All right. Salvation came from an unexpected quarter. A strike force of Vanguard Space. Yeah, they are Vanguard Space Marines. Because it's all capitalized.
Mm-hmm.
All right. From the White Scars chapter, under the command of Jodaga Khan, who had been tracking the movements of Yara's Kind's Night Lords for several months, following the psychic spore of the heretic Astartes' tortured victim.
Okay, that's cool.
Victims. The White Scars had witnessed firsthand the trail of horror that the heretic Astartes had left in their wake, and the revulsion at the depravity of their fallen brethren was absolute. The Khan's stealth cruisers followed the flight of the Nightmare of Selix straight to Taladus and to the tears of the Emperor. Oh, get out-stealthed.
Hey, John, what is that name in Mongolian?
John?
Right?
John
might not be here, so we'll have him look it up later.
Yeah. All right.
It is kind of cool that the White Scars got to keep their stealth crafts, because that was something that they had all the way in 30K.
Yeah, they modify their ships a bunch.
Yep.
As Fulgrim mentions. All right. There the Khan and his battle brothers found a graveyard of torn and twisted vessels, orbited by flayed, vacuum-frozen corpses, still wearing expressions of agony. There was no sign of the siren ship itself, but the sudden shriek of proximity sensors revealed a host of incoming vessels, dagger-shaped Night Lord strike craft raging towards them at full speed. Okay, so the Night Lords do know about them then. All right. See? The resulting void battle was swift and brutal. The smaller Night Lord's force had approached under the cover of drifting asteroids and was upon the White Scars before the Space Marines could bring their lance batteries to bear. The cruiser Thunderstone was boarded by several kill packs of Raptors, who had wreaked terrible carnage upon the crew and sabotaged several motive systems before being driven off by a squad of White Scars infiltrators. As soon as the tide of battle turned, the Night Lord's vessel slipped back into the impervious cover of the asteroid field.
Huh.
So, let's see. Want me to handle this sidebar at the bottom?
Yeah.
Alright. This should be good.
I read that as Duck Hunt, by the way.
God damn it.
Not Death Hunt.
Nope, just Duck Hunt.
Alright. Rise of Terror. The Night Lords welcomed the coming of the Great Rift with relish. Fully half of the Imperium was wreathed in impenetrable darkness, while the other half was left in confusion and chaos, lowercase, leaving the piratical heretics to indulge their every depraved whim. Indeed, the remnant of the 8th Legion, who had been reduced to an existence of piracy and reaving in order to replenish their battle gear numbers, prospered like never before. Munitorum worlds were stripped bare by night-clad warriors. Several Space Marine fortress monasteries were raided, gene seeds stolen, and armories emptied. Defenders mutilated and ritually slaughtered. Or still, the Legion's Chaos Sorcerers devised new methods of exploiting humanity's weakened states. These methods were as cunning as they were unthinkably cruel. Thousands of astropaths were abducted and subjected to agonizing torment, for the Sons of Curse had learned how to use the combined psychic trauma of their victims to create siren signals that would divert or lure stranded Imperial vessels into their clutches. The Night Lords learned to practice this dark art on a grand scale. Entire worlds were transformed into monuments to pain and terror, and the Sons of Curse delighted in every gruesome atrocity.
How have these guys not fallen to Slaanesh?
I don't know.
As Emperor's children do it better, because when it's about when Night Lords get a little bit more chaotic, they just become the Raptors of other war bands. So I just assume that modern Emperor's children Raptors are just Night Lords that learned better.
Yeah.
All right, read Duck Hunt.
It's fun. I think, though, I still find it weird that in Black Crusade the Night Lord character is put in the Corn book.
It is, but he doesn't the Night Lords kind of don't fit anywhere. Not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
they put the divided stuff in the Nurgle, but whatever. Let's keep going.
Yeah, they kind of had to just
Put him
cram
somewhere.
the Undivided guys somewhere. All right, Duck Hunt. The Night Lords had turned the tears of the Emperor into their hellish playground, mastering the deadly shifting battleground and turning it against their foes. The White Scars found themselves not only assailed by the heretic Custodes, but staggered by the devious traps and lures that the Night Lords had assembled throughout the asteroid fields. Planetoids laced with cyclonic charges and astropathic signals that drew the White Scars into pre-prepared killing zones.
Sorry. When I'm thinking of traps, I'm thinking like those simple little traps like in Skyrim, like just little ball and chain and a tripwire.
Ha. I mean, the cyclonic charges show up again. Man, do they really like using those.
Yeah, they
Alright.
really like them.
Cyclonic's a fun word.
It is. Alright. Can't let the Inquisition have all the fun. Only the multi-spectrum precognition arrays of the White Scar stealth cruisers allowed them to navigate a path through the haunted darkness. So began a shadow war of escalating brutality as the warriors of Chogoris sought to track down their hated foes through a maelstrom of blazing rocks and ruined spaceships. The Night Lords had spared the lives of the navigators from these gutted vessels, though the survivors found themselves subject to a far worse fate than death. Flayed, agonized, and kept alive and conscious by warp magic, they howled their torment into the void. These disruptive psychic screams obscured the siren signal broadcast by the Nightmare of Celix, rendering it all but impossible to discern the ship's exact location. I wasn't aware that you could have navigators screaming out psychic phenomena.
That's kind of cool.
Are they, is someone mixing up astropaths and navigators?
I mean, aren't navigators psychers?
For the purposes of rules, they are, but they don't use psychic powers.
But they're still capable of it?
Nope. They have their own thing, which are called... Well, it's called Navigator powers in Rogue Trader, but it's mostly just opening their eye. That's it. Like, they have the psychic keyword, but they can't cast psychic powers.
Hmm.
Like, for instance, in Blackstone Fortress, the Navigator character there, he counts as having Smite, but it's him opening his eye.
Right. Okay, right.
Alright.
Navigator gene warp by. Maybe just a case of close enough. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, but it feels slightly off, but never mind. Each of these lures was an ambush site guarded by kill packs of Night Lords Raptors, Chaos Space Marines, and Demon Engines. Whether they were located on drifting asteroids or the skeletons of dead vessels, every inch of ground was rigged with last grid traps, scatter mines, and booby-trapped corpses. And Cursor squads paid a heavy toll to clear out each ambush site, utilizing their Divinator-class auspexes to fashion a full spectrum analysis of the battlefield and disperse this vital combat data to their battle brothers. Infiltrator squads breached the lightless hulls of dead ships, hurling smoke grenades and firing disciplined bursts from their auger-scope marksman bolt carbines. The tenets of speed and constant movement, central to the art of warfare practiced by the warriors of Chogoris, were stymied by the Night Lord's devious tricks. This seems like a advertisement. Hey, buy Vanguard Marines.
Also, Night Lords using demon engines steals people that claim they never use demons.
That's Also, it's strange that they specify Night Lords Raptors, Chaos Space Marines. So is it? So it's counting demons. Night Lords Chaos Space Marines and Night Lord Demon Engines. Oh, and the last one doesn't have a comma.
Hold on, well, it's not teams being weird.
Alright.
I don't know how I'm being heard, but like on Vigilus, the Night Lords were led by a Master Possessions.
Yeah, so they do use demons then.
There's a lot of demons.
Yeah. Thought they didn't.
Like their biggest war bands are led by demon prince.
Giant hypocrites all. Alright. Yara's Kine and his contingent, masters of the art of stealth and subterfuge, delighted in the challenge provided by the Vanguard Space Marines. claws of elite Chaos Terminators launched short-range teleportation strikes into the hearts of the White Scars formation, butchering and eviscerating with lightning claws and power axes. Heldrix preyed upon the White Scars' dropships in the vacuum of space, and the nightmarish fiends, known as Warp Talons, breached the hulls of Space Marine cruisers, running amok in the darkness. There's just demon engines all over the place, and possessed, and...
So, do you want to hear something cute about the, what are they called? The giant turkeys.
Heldrix?
Yeah. Did you know they hang on to the ships outside of them? Like little bats?
I did not know this.
Yeah. They literally just cling onto your ship and you're like, whee!
Wee. Kind of like orcs hanging onto ships.
Mm.
Wow.
I just think it's really, really, really funny.
It is. Alright. For all the cruel ingenuity of the Night Lord's attacks, the White Scars, under the command of the Khan, I don't know, that feels like slightly misleading, adapted with remarkable speed. They feigned desperate retreats, drawing the traitor forces into kill zones of their own. Damaged ships were sacrificed to lure in those Night Lords drunk on the thrill of murder and torture. The ambushers suddenly became the ambushed, as White Scars warriors appeared in their midst, yelling blood-curdling war cries and engaging the heretic Astartes in brutal close-quarters battles. I mean, blood-curdling war cries to anyone who isn't a Space Marine, you know. That's... It feels like it's giving the White Scars just slightly too much credit.
Yeah, but gotta say one thing, White Scars, just why do you gotta name all your dudes Khans?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, everyone has been led by a Khan at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
Khan is literally their word for leader.
I know, but in that case, why not have, Jagatype just flat out be called Genghis Khan, because that's Khan of Khans.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But
And it's actually Han, I'll have you know.
I know, but yeah.
It's what... It's,
Khan is cooler, you boy.
yeah.
No, because
You
he
can-
sounds like
you-
you're getting ripped off.
Yeah, but but you can make cool Star Trek references when you say it.
That's fair.
Alright.
Okay.
Yet even as the momentum of battle shifted from hour to hour, the nightmare of Celix remained unseen, still broadcasting its demented song. Until the White Scars had cut off every false signal, the desperate fighting within the tears of the Emperor would continue.
So basically, it starts out White Scars trying to find Night Lords. Night Lords ambush them a bit. White Scars find Night Lords. Now they're just desperately hiding in that last ship, trying not to get found.
Yeah. Alright,
You
so
can't
we all...
find me. It tracks giant screaming spaceship in space. Hey, there it is.
Space.
Alright, now we... Technically, the story is over, but we have an Inquisition report, which I am super happy about.
Yeah, the Echoes of Awakening.
Yeah, let's see.
We skipped these last time, unfortunately, so might want to get them now.
Yeah, let's grab this one because it is the only thing we have left.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. I accidentally lost the page. Let's... here we go. Found it. Echoes of Awakening. The galaxy is caught in the grip of an empiric maelstrom caused by the birth of the Great Rift. The ripples from this disaster are felt across millions of worlds, giving rise to manifestations of psychic power both wondrous and horrifying. Reports gradually filter back to Terra, and humanity begins to grasp the magnitude of the event, as written by the Order Hereticus.
They got that stamp.
Yeah, stamp.
Alexis and Queen Square need to get a stamp.
I do.
So you can stamp some heresy. Stamp out heresy.
Just run up to Gold just to stamp him on the head.
Yeah. Alright, this is a bunch of Vox transmissions. Junior Commissar H.R. Lay, Subtachia Offensive Missid, GZ West. Engaged forces of Dominar Res could Hill 942. Enemy contingent numbered approximately 1,000. Significant Hereticus Extremis presence. Losses heavy, so Epsilon class deployed. Initial success. Rich objective callous, but Epsilon class displayed increasing signs of potential corruption. Commissar Cullen initiated prejudicial termination, but unable to contain extreme warp incident. Hill 942 destroyed. Repeat, entirely destroyed. Battalion lost. HQ command terminated. Requesting orders. Did the Commissar seriously just destroy an entire command squad?
I think someone periled.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
The Saga of the Beast preview for going up to down.
All right, I'm going from
Left to right.
from the left side down and then the right side down.
I got you. So yeah, Saga of the
Let's
Beast
see.
next.
Priority missive. --56D. Category: Xenos Aggressus. The Orks are gathering in vast numbers in the Galaxian corridor. Nothing stands between them and the sector capital. All contact lost for battlefields Row and Philidas. Significant and unprecedented warp disturbances across system. Nalmora and Port Guardias Island. The stars are green. All we can hear on the box is the thunder of war drums. 686 astropaths have either dropped dead from cranial ruptures or were overcome by seizures and thereafter granted the Emperor's mercy. By the stars of Sol, the drums are growing louder with every passing moment. I pray to the God Emperor that this missive is received. Communique received 1474-613 Terran Sidereal. Demi Company of the Spears of the Emperor diverted to investigate Galaxian subsector. Oh, that's
Hey, that's ADB.
yeah, that's Arendelsky Bowden's.
That's ADB's book.
Yeah. Oh boy, that probably didn't go well for them.
Oof. Wah.
All right. Next up is some sort of message. The galaxy will not perish in flames and fury. There will be no glorious final battle, no clash and crash of blades. I've dreamt of the death of humanity, and we shall fall in silence. Ugh, that's sounds like heresy to me.
Yeah, that
Let's
is
see.
heresy. He'd be purged.
Yeah.
It's using the spooky font.
It is. Let's see. Vox Intercept, Yadaris system. Hear this, you simpering lapdogs, you servile dull creatures. The Illuminator is coming. Yadaris is but the first brushstroke upon a grand canvas. He is coming, and with him comes an endless carnival of sensation. Calm down there, Slenity Warband. Let's see. Addendum. Vox transmission hails from the Cathedral of the Ashen Heart on Ortus Prime. No response along priority channels. Multiple heretic worships sighted traversing the Kaskar Nebula, on path towards Black Mantle. Iconography matches the Emperor's Children, excommunicate traitores. Well, we could have told you that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, next one. Rejoice! The sleeper awakens, and sings the song that ends the world. Across the stars his children stir, and rise to claim the mind's birthright. So it begins, and so it ends. More heresy. Alright. The fall of House Tyr. Lord Governor Tyr was assassinated in the early hours of 0.13.774 Sidereal. Simultaneously, Rhenius Tyr and Lucia Ranulf Tyr perished in an apparent explosion whilst taking part in the Micraxian Solar Regatta. The sole surviving members of Tyr's household staff speak of a tall, long-limbed sea-nose, armored in black, who summoned gouts of witchfire to immolate the Lord Governor. What is this?
It's
Oh!
what we read about in Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, this is the stuff we read in Phoenix Rising.
Oh, right. That's true. That's the...
That's a warlock.
Yeah. Forensic examinations of Tyr's property have uncovered stocks of illicit xenotech and heretical texts, as well as evidence of depraved ritual. The Micraxian Guard is mustering for reprisal attack as of 0.14.13. I shall keep the order?
With capital.
No, like, it's order. That means sister order or something else, but not ordo,
Right.
as in the Inquisition. Typo? Maybe? Probably.
Because unfortunately they don't have like a thing saying where the communication came from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that kind of
this-
sucks.
Yeah, that's a shame. Alright. Prognosticatum Ultima. Prospero Exactis. Oh, look who it is! Grandmaster Voldus. The empiric imbalance along the Prosperan Rift is far worse than first feared. Demonic incursions are reported on multiple vectors, and something far worse is brewing upon the surface of Sortarius. A maelstrom builds there, a gathering of psychic power greater than anything we have witnessed since the opening of the Cicatrix Maledictum. Doubtless the Crimson King planned some new atrocity, though our prognosticars could not pierce the arcane veil drawn about the sorcerer's planet. As scattered as our numbers are, I believe that we must investigate in force. I await your wisdom, Grandmaster. It's Voldus. He's showing up.
Right, this is Ritual of the Damned.
Yes, this is some nice foreshadowing. All right, Vox Echo, Black Ship Fleet, Thursia's last recorded
Sisters
location.
of Silence.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're dead.
It might have just been stormtroopers.
Recorded location, Oprizar Nebulae. Reading catastrophic warp signatures across the fleet. Anti-empiric wardings failing on all vectors. Star Scythe breached amidships, venting tithe cargo into space. Oh, those are psychers.
Yep.
We have reports of gunfire in the restraint holds. No communication received from Sister Superior Daria.
So that's a Sister of Battle.
Yeah. Since she led a pacification squad to deck 600 at 00.646 hours. Captain Santula has enacted Extremis Doctrine Vermilion Alpha, having enacted critical power surge to warp engines. Detonation imminent. This is the last transmission of the black ship Tortantia. May the God Emperor grant us mercy. Poor Sisters of Silence and Sisters of Battle.
Might just been Sisters of Battle. Like, a black ship might get guarded by either or both of Sisters of Silence, Sisters of Battle, or Tempestuous Scions.
No, in Games Workshop, they probably did a 2-for-1.
Oof.
All right. Intercepted data slate 144-1525-CV, marked for censure. It is a miracle, my friend. I have no other word for it. The fiends had broken through the bastion line and were upon us, tearing at our heels as we fled in panic. Yet, as we ran, I saw Sergeant McClinnan hobbling towards the swarm. His arm was missing and half his face was burned away by the scene of acidic spew, but he had the most serene look in the remaining eye. He held up one hand and everything turned blindingly white. I heard the shrieks of alien filth, and when I opened my eyes, the ground was littered with smoking corpses. The few claw beasts left alive recoiled and howled as if wreathed in invisible flames. The 114th turned and raised our bayonets to them. So, is it just me, or should Games Workshop seriously release generic Saints now?
Yeah.
They really should, but that was the that's the Tau book.
Oh, yeah, because that has Acts of Faith happening in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, the flying priest that eats himself out of crisis suit.
He's a super priest.
Super priest. Da, 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 da.
So, unfortunately, this book does not tell us how the entirety of this event ends, but the Sister Battle Codex does have something in the lore about how the sisters wound up winning this campaign. And it's because the people started doing acts of faith, and which we hear about in the first part of the book, but they're literally all doing it, and they're bathing the heretics in holy fire.
Faith, bullcrap.
Yep.
Sounds pretty sweet.
So with that, we are done with this book, and there's no actual thing at the ending either, which I was rather disappointed with.
Yeah, like, I'm looking through the pages, I don't see anything. It's just rules after that.
Yeah, to be fair, they did have to put a lot of rules in here.
Yeah,
so
like, this is a lot more.
Yeah, because this is
rules-wise.
the Black Templar Codex, essentially.
Yeah, and then all the Codex supplements for Chaos Space Marines outside of Black Legion, which are in Vigilus.
yeah,
So, all in all, what did you think about the story?
I liked it. It had some plot contrivance from the big man, but such as it is. But it lacks an ending, which is a shame.
Yeah, like it's neat, but like a lot of it is build up. The actual stuff happening is pretty short, and then it just devolves into faith plot bullcrap. So I like it, but to be honest, I like Phoenix Rising a bit more.
Yeah, as if we are to rank them, Phoenix Rising is currently in 1, and this is currently in 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say that. I was expecting more from the sisters, considering that there's 30,000 of them,
Yeah.
and
Watch Spice Marines.
they didn't really
Marines.
they didn't really do anything. I felt like
They died. They died to up the stakes. You know, the traditional role of sisters.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mm.
I felt like the Black Templar, and I guess they did stuff.
Like the Black Templar boarded a squid, salamanders tried to lead the word bearers away and failed, and the White Scars beat up the Night Lords.
I mean, no, like, funnily enough, none of the actual Space Marines, like loyalists, they didn't actually win any of their battles.
Yeah, outside of damaging the space squid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, putting the Night Lords on the run.
I mean, the Night Lords on the run is kind of their
And
forte.
again, they're always on the run, pretty much.
Yeah.
That sure sounds like a Broadway theater play.
That-
Night Lords on the run. Da, da.
It does. It does. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this telling of the Psychic Awakening Faith and Fury book. This was a book.
This was a book indeed.
With pages, a beginning, and not really an end.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, like the first one has an ending, sort of. This one just does not have an ending at all.
Like the last one, yeah, it does have an open-ended ending, but like, you know, your brain goes through kind of a character arc. We get a beginning, a middle, and a climax, then just, you know, build up for the future.
Mhm.
Yeah. In this one,
It's-
the setup is super good.
Yeah, like this one, like a great setup, then short middle, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, guys, we actually have to put in Space Marine rules. Oh crap.
Ah,
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any suggestions for the series after Psychic Awakening, please let us know. I'm actually thinking of doing the Vigilus series, and then from there moving on to what originally started all of this, The Fall of Cadia, and that series of books. But if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, comment, and share this video, because it really helps out the channel quite a bit. If this gets to 1,000 likes, I'll release the next episode.
1,000 likes?
Anyway, as always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. You guys can say goodbye now.
all right, goodbye. You're all
Goodbye,
butts.
nerds.
See you at Blood of Ball.
Yeah.
Take care,
Please, if you
everyone.
share it.
Love you guys. Bye.